Alrighty, think that means we're live. Hey friends, we're here once again. Welcome back to episode or stream number 3 of our Old School RuneScape Ironman playthrough. Last we left off, we did a whole bunch of combat training against some cows, and then we eventually went on to do some quests, like the Knight's Sword and Dork's quest. So, after we left off with that, I ended up off-stream farming up to 20 fishing, coincidentally going up to 26 cooking, and 33 mining because I got 342 iron ore. So our goal today is just going to be doing a whole bunch of chill smithing and mining and probably wood cutting. So we're just going to take things one step at a time and see what happens. But again, going to be a very chill stream. Skilling and chilling is the name. And that's going to be pretty much what happens. I don't know if the iron ore is open. No, it's not, so I'm going to have to change worlds. Alright, let's see if I can find a different world, a better world. That's the only problem with the iron ore here. It can be pretty popular, which is why I wanted to do this bingo. I wanted to do this early in the morning, my iron ore smithing. Because once it gets popular, we'll hop on over to either coal or just do something else. We may do combat, but don't hold your breath on that. At least not for the first half of it. We'll see how it goes, though. My goal is to do a whole bunch of mining and a whole bunch of mining. Sorry, friend. As long as he doesn't try and start stealing my ores, that's all I care about. If he does, I'll probably just leave the area and find a different one. I'd prefer if you didn't, sir. Sir, please don't. This is probably the best iron ore spot in the game, so, you know, got a deal. Ore mines aren't too bad either, but those aren't quite as good. Yeah, and peak time, sometimes you can have 3 or 4 people trying to all fight over the same rocks, and ideally, as you can see, you just want to go rock to rock here, just one and then the other, then the other. No movement, no needing to wait for it to spawn. Just go at it. You may ask about Fuuya, why do you need iron ore? Didn't you unlock steel? Well, if you didn't know, iron and coal make steel. Nice. Uncut sapphire. Also got an uncut ruby a little bit earlier on this morning when I was getting ready to go shopping. Doing a little bit of chill mining. But iron and coal make steel, and that coal is probably the most valuable ore in the game in terms of needing it for literally everything after iron in terms of smithing. Now, granted, you know, you got gold and silver, but that's not smithing. That's kind of smithing to do the bar, but after that, it's definitely not. But no, you know, you need two coal per iron ore, I think. And then I think it's 3. No, it's 4. I think it's 6 and then 8 for the Lex ones for mithril, adamantite, and then runite, respectively. I think I could be wrong. Easy way to find out. Yeah, so we got. Hold on, I'm just gonna drop. Yep, 4, 6, 8 mithril, adamantite, and runite. That said, if you're ever able to get to the point where you can smelt runite as a free to play, you've made it. You have made it, friend. Especially as an Ironman, because that means you had to go into the wilderness to farm the runite and make it back alive. By that point, we're probably going to be members, and there's so many other places to farm that it's much safer than the wilderness. Like, for example, the bottom of the Heroes Guild, I believe, has some runite ore, making it very valuable. I could probably be running right now. Yesterday was cold coffee. Today is hot coffee. I just have a little mix once in every now and then. Well, he's not really standing there, so... Sorry, bud. You're not going to do anything. I'm just going to keep doing my spot. I feel I'm going to have to swap off of here fairly soon because they're going to just pull me off of it. What M and C means at Alisher. Computer's strong. Please don't troll my computer. Nandy boy. Interesting name. Yeah, and if only I can do 2 or 3 more inventories, that's fine. It's whatever. I can always do some more in my off time. Point is, though, I'm trying to get to as high as I can before I start doing coal, because obviously the higher you're mining, the better chance you have of getting the ore quick. Not guaranteed, mind you, and it's largely pickaxe dependent, but every point does help a little bit. And not that coal is particularly hard to farm or mine, but it does take a little while. Tricky. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Ideally, I'd be able to get to 41 to get the runite pickaxe, and then start doing coal. Not going to happen because I'm not going to have enough money to do the runite pickaxe. Getting the steel is super useful for the iron, though. So probably I'd have to figure I'm going berry bushman. That's a good name for someone going around picking berries. But I figure what I'm probably going to end up doing is getting to 41-ish and then moving over to coal. Ideally. Probably won't happen that way, but and once I start farming coal, I'll be able to smith enough swords or whatnot to hopefully afford the runite pickaxe, which I think is 21,000-ish. It's hefty. But the sooner I can get that, the better. Problem is, I can't wield the runite pickaxe, so at some point we're gonna have to, come to terms and say, what point do we just have? I don't want to fight the rat. Don't fight the rat, please. Thank you. What point am I going to say just keeping inventory space and getting 27, 28? When is that worth it? Well, for the runite pickaxe, the answer is yes. It's always worth it. But eventually, I will want to get to 40 attack for that. So I can just hold it like I am with steel. Also, I don't really care that much about getting a steel or the mithril or the adamantite. I know, was it Mene? I think is his name, but he was saying to skip the steel and go into the adamantite. But if I had done that, while that would have been better cost-wise, though I didn't have the money, I still don't have the money. I would have had to keep in my inventory to mine with, which isn't a big deal. But 28 per stack instead of 27 is much more ideal. More efficiency that way. So if you can do like 1 tick or 2 ticks off of the ores with runite at that point, then obviously go with the runite. Versus 6 or 7 sometimes hits with a steel. I got to swap worlds. Survey says no. I will accept it then. Thank you, friend. But yes, our goal, as I mentioned, we're going to be trying to aim for higher mining, so we'll see what happens. As there's a user in chat, I don't believe it. There ends up being a lot of, I don't know if you call them fake accounts, but like zero viewer, or zero posts, zero views, or something like that. Just random ones like, oh, let's see, Oniva, OX2, Alien Gathering, another Twitch TV viewer, Ice Wizards with an E instead of an A for wizards, and Lurks with 2 X's. I think all those accounts are just like generic ones that are put in there. I don't know why. But either way, I'm fine with that. It's early in the morning, we're just doing some light mining. Friend, you got one right there. Are you just dropping the ore? Gosh, what are you doing? Now he's coming after my stuff. Specifically coming after my stuff. Please don't do that, sir. Now he's just being a jerk. I'm going to have to change off the area. Not fine, whatever. Y'all jerks. We had an accord, and then the accord went out the window at some point. There's people here. We're just going to swap a few places. There we go. We got someone down here doing tin ore for some reason. I don't understand why you'd be mining tin here, but go for it. This is tin, not silver. Sometimes it's just as simple as changing worlds, and then you're good for a while. That is one of the nice things that RuneScape 3 kind of changed, is that you don't have to fight over rocks. They don't despawn, they don't... they still encourage you by a different system to move every now and then, but you don't have to deal with this nonsense of, oh, you gotta see who gets the rock first, or you have to find a rock and stick with it, or this nonsense. No, just, you know, do your thing. That part's nice. Some of the other systems aren't as good, like summoning is absolutely insane with how expensive it is, but at the very least I can say that they did mining right, mining and smithing, which might be because of an update that they did for specifically mining and smithing. But smithing too is pretty fun. Rip you, good luck. I'll run a little bit too, but I'm not going to be doing it near as much as you. Just a little bit so I can burn up some stamina. Use it? Oh, there you go. I was like, did I miss something? Oh, so one note. I was going to say at the beginning, but then I got distracted by a computer going funky. So, for those of you watching the VOD, if you notice a better picture quality, good, mission accomplished. I don't understand why, but it was just absolutely, I'm not going to say abysmal, but it was not good enough for what I would consider to be a good quality video, the last couple. Obviously I had to make do with what I had, and I can't go back and re-record everything, but wasn't sure as to why. What I was doing was I was, instead of what I usually do, which would either be record or submit directly to YouTube, I was recording to Twitch and then using a software to download it off of Twitch and then post it onto YouTube. So I thought that was going to be the same quality as what I would normally have, but after 2 videos and then double checking, I noticed no, it was not. So I'm hoping, knock on wood, that I did a little bit of research and found that you could actually stream and record at the same time. First attempt failed utterly because the game computer itself crashed for some reason. I don't understand. I think RuneLite sometimes doesn't like, or maybe RuneScape itself doesn't like recording on it, but we'll persevere. But now I got it recording to my computer and streaming, so I'll be able to upload it to YouTube the exact same quality, hopefully, that I'm playing on right now. As far as I can tell, it's not too far off. It doesn't look very glitchy. It didn't look glitchy on the other side when I was recording before either, so it's hard to tell. I think we might have a better quality for YouTube, so if so, mission really accomplished. If not, well, back to drawing board, but we tried. I don't like to have the glitchy videos, so I'd like to see if we can get like this from now on. And get ready for level up coming soon. Yeah. Sandstone. Ew, no, heck no. So now our plan is to continue mining, of course. We'll see how long this goes. I don't have a set amount of rocks I'm aiming for because I know I'm going to need probably a couple thousand, I figure, to get to 45, 47. And honestly, it might still be better to do steel plate bodies even after hitting 47. Or is it 48? Maybe 48. Might still be better to just do those instead of trying to get the mithril. I'll have to see, of course. I'm going to be fine with some mithril for my own personal combat use, probably, but I gotta say, it would be nice if I could skip right to mithril tier gear. Get to 20 each, or is it 21? Would be nice, though. I'll have to double check after we fill up our inventory. Problem is, I got 3 different games kind of flowing through my head. I got Melvar Idol, which is 20. We have RuneScape, I think, RuneScape 3, which is also 20, I think. We got Old School RuneScape, which for some reason 21 seems to be popping in my head. Nope, 20. Okay, good. Good enough for Fuuya. I'll definitely be making... My goal at the very least today is to get enough iron and coal to hit 20... or not 20, 34, I think, right? Steel... Well, steel swords too, but I want to hit 35 for steel scimitars. Ideally, I will get 35 so I can make the scimitar for my combat training. Because I am already level 5, so I'll be able to equip it right away, and then I'll be gravy from then on. I might just go ahead and make steel gear as well if I can, but if not, obviously I'm not taking much damage from the cows, and I'll just be farming a lot more cows for a while. I do want to eventually swap over and do some archery, but you can't really do any fletching in this free-to-play, so it's hard to get arrows unless you pay for them. That's obviously expensive. Or you can farm them up in the Stronghold Security, which I do want to do, but right now I can't. I think Minotaur's like 14 or something like that. 16. So effectively right around my level. I'd like to get a little bit better gear before I try and tackle anything like that. Now, speaking of money, a Stronghold Security is a great way to get a little bit of extra cash. I think up to 20,000 if you can make it down to the bottom floors without getting insta-gibbed. So I'm probably going to be trying to do that at some point, though. Not yet. If I could pull it off, that would be huge. Any money I can get at this point would be huge. That is the best source of free money in the game, along with pretty cool boots if you can get to the bottom area. I don't think there's any combat differences between them, but they're both pretty sweet. Yeah, for some reason it is 41 for the pickaxe. Right there. Rune pickaxe 41. Why is that? I do not know. Hey, whatever. We'll do our normal tier gear at 40 pickaxes and not at 41. Speaking of axes, not pickaxes mind you, but axes in general, I do plan to do some woodcutting today. So the plan is to do a whole bunch of tree farming. Just put it in my inventory. Get me up to 15. Now I'm at 15 fire making, I can do the same for oak. I could burn lower tier trees as well, but it's just better straight up to save up your lower tier trees because excuse me, I'm gonna need a whole bunch of normal trees for fletching eventually. We will probably go members at some point, so I'm trying to plan ahead for that. You're going to need a whole bunch for fletching, you're going to need a whole bunch for construction. However many I farm now will still not be enough. That's another reason I want to do some smithing, because I'm not quite high enough to make a steel axe. I do want to make a steel axe. So that would be wonderful if I could do so. Because of course, level 5 for steel, and then we're high enough level to... Pretty sure we're high enough level to do it. I'll check after we finish up this. Last two. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. Let's change... Well, let's get walking first. I just realized you can't see my inventory because I had to change it back for chicory. Shifting, shifting, shifting. Oh, nope. We had it, we had it. Oh, going. There we go. Like I barely can see a gap between them, but whatever. It's close enough. No, it's perfect. Axes. Oh, 6 I need for steel. So yeah, like I said, I'm good. Turn my own sound down a little bit. Yeah. I didn't think you could hear it in the background, but sometimes it can get a little bit louder, like having music up so I can hear. 481. We are making some good progress this morning. Heck yeah. And again, not every playthrough is going, or every stream video is going to be super hyped for RuneScape. It's a game where it has its bursts of excitement, but otherwise it's very chill, which, you know, is one of the things I like. And just seeing numbers go up, seeing your stats go up, seeing yourself gradually being able to do this, that, and the other thing. And all of this is going to become huge once we go over to members. The higher we get our stats now, the less we're going to have to farm up in membership for all these same stats. Like, smithing, you want to get up to 60 at least for membership, because that's when I think, or is it 62? Maybe 62. Because there's a mini game called the Blast Forge that, I think it's Blast Forge. Maybe I had the name wrong. But if you don't have a high enough smithing, you have to pay to use the equipment, but otherwise, you have it high enough past that marker, you can use it for free, minus the general use charge, which is still expensive as all get out, but the fastest way to raise smithing by far, because you use half of the coal that you normally would have to use. So instead of having to do 2 coal, 1 iron ore, you just use 1 iron ore, 1 coal for steel bars, for example. Instead of having to do 4, you do 2. Instead of having to do 6, you do 3, and etc. So it saves a crap ton of resources and grinding. Very expensive to use, which is the problem, but it's the best way to get not only a good amount of experience, but also a good amount of bars as well. Now, technically, If you were not Iron Man, you'd want to sell all those bars and then buy all the ores because you can make a good profit off of that. Pretty solid profit most days. Sometimes you have to watch the market rises, the market falls, but usually it's pretty dang good. Now here we don't buy, we don't sell, so it'll all be me using those resources for better crafting, or better smithing. Lana. And nice, there's 36. We are 5 away from that Runite Pickaxe tier. Not that we have one yet, but that's a huge start. Now, the other big breakpoint first, what I'm looking for is, I think, 60. Actually, that one might be 62 for the Mining Guild. I just get my numbers mixed up a little bit with that. I don't have it memorized. The Mining Guild is really useful because it has, I think, up to Adamantite and no danger whatsoever. As you will probably see into the future, there is a really good spot to get coal and also mithril if you're a high enough level or you're lucky enough to avoid getting trounced by a monster. That monster's name is the dreaded King Scorpion. And yes, it is very powerful, for low levels at least. It's not going to kill you in one shot, but it if it locks eyes on you, it doesn't give up. The problem is, you want to be uninterrupted for all your mining goodness. So if it catches you, it's going to start stabbing you. It's going to hurt. You're going to have to run away. Other people in there are going to chuckle and laugh. But it's all part of the Dwarven mines. Well, I'm sure we'll go down there at some point, though. The Barbarian Outpost, having the coal up above, if we can get access to that without having to deal with the onslaught of scorpions, that would be pretty dang solid. So, we'll see. I'll probably go for there for my coal. It's very least good enough coal to try to level all the way up to 35. But we'll have to see. I don't know how many. I don't have a magic number of how many I'm gonna need. I don't have a calculator in front of me. But we're gonna roll with it. But hey, we called it skilling and chilling for a reason, so we'll see what happens. You'll see once we go start doing the coal how much longer it takes. Because it does take a while. Once we get to be a member, there's a mini game called the Motherlode Mine, which is actually really good for raising your, well, decently good for raising your mining, but really good for rewards. You basically are mining these wall chunk things, and once you get a full inventory, you go of the chunks, you go ahead and put it through this water mill to wash away and see what you get. And you get, usually a whole bunch of stuff that you can turn into the guy for points. Wait, yeah, I think you have to turn it in? No, I think you just get a whole bunch of like random ores, like gold ore, or mithril ore, or adamantite ore, or a bunch of gems too. And you get points, I think. I think that's why. And the more points you get, the more... Go to closer, you'll get... Oh, sorry, no, you do get an item you can turn in for points. That's right. Rare, but you get it. And that item, once you get enough of it, you can turn it in for a bag to store a whole bunch of coal in. I don't remember how much, but it's a pretty solid amount. And then you can get other goodies like, bags of gems or some other stuff like mining XP boosters. But the coal bag is the big one. That's what you want to do the Motherlode Mine. That's not required, but it's more, might as well be. We are getting there bit by bit. As you can see, the road to 41 is long. This could be something I might have to do for a long, long time, because I think iron or steel smithing is still the best way to go, and almost until 99, but we'll see. So at that point, you want to do steel plate bodies, I think. Yeah, members area. Actually, is it a members area, or is it just you can't get anything from there unless you're... I forget. Might be members only, though. Lana is chopping down all the trees. Look at her go. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Goodness. Guessing we'll need at least about 800 or so for our goals today, but we'll see. If it didn't cause me to waste XP, I might bring up a calculator and check, but I ain't that worried about it. Once you get to the point where you start using calculators, you can get very tedious, because like, okay, I need to have exactly this many, and then I gotta worry about doing this and this and this. It definitely has its points, but there's definitely a nice part of just kind of going at it freely and worrying about, I guess, putting it this way, let the chips fall how they fall in terms of XP gain. Yes, since the music is pretty repetitive at this point, let's see if we can find something I know I want to listen to. Yeah. I went past the ends, didn't I? LMN, so no you didn't, Fuuya. Bingo. The best. That's right. Newbie melody. No, you stay away from these iron rocks. Please. Appreciate it if you stayed away. Now, if I keep beating him to the rock, then eventually he will hopefully world swap. Yep, bingo, he world swapped. And if you're like, Fuuya, why are you being a bully? That is not being a bully. This is the whole point of this area, is to be able to farm the two rocks back to back to back. Otherwise, you're really being slow. Now, if they had like two rocks that were like boom and boom with being able to stand between them, wouldn't be too bad. I could deal with that. But no, I'm not going to fight over two rock spot. This is dumb. I saw a comment on YouTube at one point about this song, because I think it was like talking about how the song starts off slow, you're getting used to things, and then turns into a shanty throughout, and then it gets low and quiet as you reach the end of your journey, kinda. Very nice comment. More rock. Okay, so we're now to almost 3 inventory loads. maybe issue between 3 to 4. So yeah, I might not be too far off from that 800. And again, if things start getting too bogged down with other people, I probably will just end up giving up. I mean, I'll probably still do a few world swaps attempts, but it was almost 9 o'clock. No, only 8:21. So it shouldn't be that busy for at least another 40 minutes, I'd figure. 9 o'clock's about where I would expect it to be. Oh. Getting busier, people waking up and being like, hey, it's Sunday morning. Let's play some games. $565. I mind doing a little bit of farming and cows later on in the session if I get all my goals met. Well, if we will, because I don't know how long I'm going to play, but at the very least, I figure we'll play till almost 11, so that's another 2.5. Ooh, I bet this would be a good spot to talk about some of what I've been doing writing-wise. I know all y'all want to hear about it. Maybe, maybe not, but you know, as long as you're chilling and skilling, might as well do a little bit of chatting. So, in a different video, not the RuneScape tier, but a couple of different ones, I've talked a little bit about, you know, I've been working on writing-wise. But let's go into a little more detail since this is really not too focus intensive. I feel like it'd be kind of fun to chat about. So, I'm actually working on 2 stories, 2 novels, two novels in the style of a Japanese light novel, or in English, of course. But if you haven't, sure, what's up? Hold that thought. I'll help you with your pheasants. 3 tails. 3 tails. Please stop rocking around. First. Thank you, peasant. Now leave. Peasant or pheasant? Either way, get the heck out. Ooh. Lederhosen top for your help. Yay, rare gear. Go. Look at that. Actually, pretty cute outfit. A little heavy though, so I'll probably end up dropping it. Oh, I'll also end up dropping the gold ring I have too. I got a gold ring from Captain Arab or whatever his name is. That's not the name, I know, but come by, you have to do the series of 3 different symbol matching that match whatever he wants to open up the treasure chest, and then he gives you a rare piece of loot, which usually ends up being like a ring or something. Gold ring wasn't a big win, but still I can sell it for some money, so that's always nice. Also, bingo. Okay, so we were getting ready to chat about what I'm doing writing-wise, and then we got interrupted by the pheasant man. So, I'm writing 2 different books, both in the style of a Japanese light novel, which, best equivalent if you don't know what those are, think of almost like a young adult style book. You know, that's kind of writing tier, but more the sorts of things you see in like manga and anime. You know, that same sort of storytelling, that same sort of stories. For example, Sword Art Online, you might have heard of it. Not so small anime. That started out as a Japanese light novel, and then grew into a manga and anime and game series and all of that. Same thing with Konosuba. God's Blessing on This Wonderful World in English. That one also started off as a light novel series. And you'll see that quote happen quite a lot where, there'll be a novel, and then they'll turn into a manga. Sometimes there'll be manga to going into an anime. Usually, for the light novel wise, it goes light novel to manga and then to anime not too long after that if it becomes popular. So, I'm writing 2 different, stories in that same sort of style, genre, sort of. And the first one is we may not know the term isekai, but it means other world, literally in Japanese. And let's see, so Konosuba would be a great example. So Konosuba, the main character, thinks he's going to save someone from being run over by a truck, ends up being a tractor, but Konosuba is a parody of the isekai genre. But regardless, usually something where you dive out in front of a truck and you save someone, then you die, and then you meet a god. Or you end up getting summoned to another world like a magic spell or something. Actually, I was going to take this off. One sec. There you go. Now I can be a little bit less weighted down when I'm running. Every little bit matters, which is why I'm not wearing outfit stuffs. But, like Konosuba, so then, there's an example of him dying. He meets a god. They say, hey, we're going to send you to another world if you want. And, we'll give you a special power, and you can choose it. Well, Konosuba, the goddess is a bit of a jerk, and eating potato chips is like, hurry up and choose your power, and whatnot. And so he gets upset, and he's like, I'm going to choose you, and, brings her along. Really funny, humorous story. If you haven't seen Konosuba, definitely watch it or read it. It's fantastic. The light novel is really, really well done. And the anime is pretty dang good, too. And the manga, I'm sure, is fine. I haven't read the manga, but I'm sure it's absolutely hilarious, just like the rest of it is. But, something like that. Or, let's see. Oh, Rising of the Shield Hero. That's a great example right now, because I think it's been pretty popular recently, and I just got done reading most of the light novel series that's out. And it's been big out in anime, etc. in the States. Keep seeing all these advertisements for it. So, like Rising of the Shield Hero, that's an example of the summoning style, where he's living his life, he finds a book in the library, and all of a sudden he gets summoned to this other world as part of like a, hey, we're gonna make you a hero, one of the four great heroes of the land. And then, basically it's kind of a deconstruction where the world is absolute crap. Everyone treats them like crap, and it doesn't change for quite a while. But, stuff like that. Probably my story is more similar to that in terms of how it's going to be designed. So a little bit of a sneak preview and, mini elevator pitch. So the main character, his name is Ichiro. Mochizuki Ichiro. So Ichiro is, a high school student in Japan. I think if I remember, he's 17. I might have to double check that, but I think 17. Yeah. I got my two stories mixed up in my head a little bit with that, but I think it's 17 on his side. And he has a really, really good friend named Kana. And Kana is really good. She's almost like, if you've heard Mary Sue, the term Mary Sue tossed around, where someone's just absolutely, a female who's like super good at everything, etc. And there's, the male term of it too, I forget the name, but, effectively someone who's, perfect in pretty much every way. She's pretty close approaching that. She's smart, she's, strong, she's fast, she's well liked, really, really, talented all around, we'll say. Not that she's necessarily perfect, but, she's not too far away from it. And, he kind of realizes, but, kind of ignores it, but, she really likes him, for reasons, but they've been friends for a long time, 10 years. Actually, 12 years, I think, because she moved in when they were 5 years old, and they ended up getting a house next door. But anyway, so she's the student council president, of course, and she's the type of person to drag him around to, keep him from being a goofball on his side, because he loves reading books, especially military history. He loves reading, some cultural history, but a lot of this history and strategy type things, but not very much into popular anime or whatnot. Has a general knowledge, but nothing huge. Anyway, so he'd prefer to stay in house all day, but she drags him around to, work out or to socialize with classmates, all this sorts of stuff. And he begrudgingly always follows along because, she does, look out for him and, knows best in that case. But anyway, so they are finishing up the day of school. In fact, this is a special day because this is the last day of school before summer vacation. Taking place, I think, in mid-July. Now, students in Japan, as you may or may not realize, they don't have a 3-month summer vacation. Usually you get about a month, maybe a month and a half, depending on the school. And usually starts in July. So, that's why they're getting out in July in this case. But, really hot, middle of summer, they finish up, they're walking home. It's about a 30-minute walk down the mountain, because this is kind of midway up a mountain. I think I called it Yamamichi High, which is a, Mountain Way High School, which is, a great name for a high school, I think. It has a nice flow to it. But, so they're walking home, and, chatting, and, she's like, well, I'm not going to let you just sit there and read books all summer. I mean, you'll have time for that too, but, I got all sorts of plans. We're gonna make the most of the summer. And he's like, oh, for Pete's sakes. But, fine, whatever. You win. So, because she's like, well, don't you want to spend time with me? Kind of fake crocodile tears. And he's like, fine, whatever. You win. But, then, they're kind of bantering. He kind of, at that point, puts his hand, palm to his head, like, ugh. And then he's looking down naturally, and he sees this white circle appear underneath her. And to put it in perspective, so this white circle is something called vanishing white. And vanishing white, what that is it's a phenomenon that appeared just a little over 2 years ago in their world. This is, figure about mid, like 2015-ish, or maybe 2012. I forget the exact year I used in the world. An alternate version of ours, but, not too far off. But, this vanishing white, what it is, first this white circle appears underneath someone, and it gradually gets brighter and brighter. These, or an ornate circle with all sorts of symbols and stuff. And then after a second or two, it flashes, and then a big burst of light, a beam of light appears underneath the person, and then they vanish. No one knows what happens to them. No one really understands. Did they die? Did they get vaporized? Did they get transported? Did they get beamed up? Beam me up, Scotty. No one really knows, but it hasn't been happening enough to the point where it's a huge concern, like mass widespread panic, but very large unease about it, because there's no way to predict who it's going to attack or affect. No one knows where it's going to appear next, when it's going to appear. Usually every other week, or somewhere. Sometimes it's back-to-back days, and then it goes quiet for a month or two. But by this point in the story, 213, I believe, is the number. People have been affected by vanishing light, and no matter what you do, there's no way to stop this from happening. Like, you can't pull them out of the circle, really, or really, there's no way to prevent it from happening. Even if the person tries to run, even if they're in a building, in a car, just boom, you get affected by it and you're gone. Anyone in the circle area gets blasted away, so it doesn't pull anyone but the person itself. Objects in the area are generally unaffected. If you're holding on to an object or something and you get poofed, then that object also vanishes. But other than that, no one really knows beyond that what's going on. So when he sees underneath her that circle appear, he realizes pretty much right away what it is, because it's at this point pretty much everybody knows what vanishing white is in the world, even though they don't know why it's happening, or etc. But there's been videos and stuff proving it's happening. So he's like, well, what am I gonna do? And he's like, kind of makes an instinctive decision, like, you know what, I'm gonna try and save her. And so he basically drops his bag and body tackles her, and amazingly enough, it works. Knocks her out of the circle, and he is now the one surrounded by the light. And then a few seconds later, poof, he's gone. And the last thing he hears as light's vanishing is Kana screaming out his name, and that's where chapter 1 ends. So really cool idea. Well, of course, the main character did not die in the end of chapter 1. Vanishing White is actually a summoning that pulls summon from our world, Earth, to another one. In this case, a whole another world, a world of magic and monsters and special, they call them martial arts, but effectively, if you ever play like a Tales of game, those sorts of attacks or arts or skills or whatnot, or whichever game you're playing, being able to shoot like energy beam maybe out of your sword, or jump across a wide distance or stuff like that. And of course, magic being magic, so really fantasy based, but taking place. This story going to take place on a continent with about 23 countries, I think. Pretty cool. But he gets summoned as at 38 and combine dense essence, which I don't care about, but thank you. He finds himself waking up in, I can't really see anything right now, but he hears, people talking around him, and he's able to recognize, what they're saying, thankfully. But, someone's talking about him, oh, he's stirring, he's waking up, this is amazing. And eventually he's kind of, the white light kind of fades from his eyes, he can finally see, and he finds himself in a throne room. And at this point, he's very confused, but he kind of looks around. A bunch of nobles, or at least what looks like nobles, fancy clothes, standing around looking at him. He's kind of more towards the bottom of a set of steps that lead up to a throne with a regal king in in robes and then whatnot. So he's not sure what's happening, and then the king starts talking to him, and Elijah next to him, kind of chipping in here and there. It's like, "Greetings, young hero," and he's like, "Hero, what?" But you've been summoned to help us in our fight against the Monster Lord. And he's like, "I have no idea what the heck this is. This is like an anime plot or something?" He's very confused, but kind of like, "I don't really understand what's going on. Maybe you could explain more." And so the king tells him, "Okay, well, come kneel in front of me. Let me look you in your face, the face of our future savior, and I'll tell you everything you need to know." And so he does so, and as soon as he looks in the king's eyes, these symbols appear replacing his irises, and he feels compulsion, like, "Oh, this is a good man, a great man, a man that I should serve loyally." And then suddenly kind of like a ding sound, and he kind of shakes out of it. King, meanwhile, was very surprised, like, what the hell is going on? Because, in fact, the king was trying to mind control him and pull him under his spell. There are such things as powers in this world, and the king has a very special one called Tyrant's Gaze, which at the time he doesn't know it, but can control up to 10 individuals for as long as he wants, unless somehow the effect is broken otherwise. But each hero is going to be number 10. The previous number 10 was dropped off to make space for the summoning, because they were expecting him to be a hero. So then he tells his advisor, like, figure out what's going on. Why didn't this work? And then he looks and he's like, "This isn't the hero, or this isn't a hero. He doesn't have the hero's power." Because they're apparently trying to specifically get a hero. Yara 7, huh? Interesting name. So things go bad for Ichiro really quickly. I'm not going to spoil anything else beyond that, but effectively he gets sent to a remote village to be trained to fight. But he feels like he's probably in deep danger for his life, and kind of going from there, like, what's happening? Why did I suddenly get thrust into this world? Well, I died in front and saved Kano, so I'm not going to complain about it because I chose this. But what's going on here? And then all the while, the guy had said, "Well, I can't tell what power he has. It's like corrupted or something. I can only see like a bunch of static in the word mind." So no one really knows what's going on, but that will be revealed during the course of the story. Maybe in chapter 1, maybe, or story number 1, maybe not. I'm planning this to be probably I figure a 16 to 20 book series. And it's going to be one of those big adventure epics where I'm not going to be necessarily focused in one area. I'm going to be doing a lot of traveling. Figuring out how to get home is probably one of his big things, but we'll see what happens. There'll be some twists along the way that I think will be very much fun, very, very exciting. This is a deconstruction in some ways of the isekai genre, but also searching for the meaning of what really is a hero. You know, what makes a hero. So that's number one. And I'm calling the codename for it is Project Hero. I am not going to give the actual title yet, but that is what we're looking at. And so I'm actually 45,000 words as of yesterday. Got another 3,000 knocked out. 45,000 words into the story. A Japanese light novel tends to be 50,000-ish. I'm going to end up being 60 to 70 most certainly, but I'm almost at the point where the plot's going to start making it to the top of the mountain and the climax and rolling downhill. So we're getting closer, but we got a little ways left. But, so that's the first novel. I'm foreseeing this one being, going to be a little bit hard to write because there's going to be, with all the countries and their relationships and kind of having to keep track of things happening in the story. It's going to be very, detailed in that way, but still going to be very, very fun and, hopefully an easy read. The other one I am working on, and this one I wasn't planning to do anything like this, but then the thought came to me all of a sudden. I was reading a couple different novels, and all of them had a character that was really ditzy, like really airheaded, stupid. Not necessarily stupid, but no common sense type thing. I was like, how fun would it be if that was like, maybe the main character is maybe someone where they were really, really powerful and have no right to be, and they're like far more powerful than anyone else in the generally around them. They're kind of going around trying to do good in the world, etc. So that was my thoughts, and so I kind of did some thinking and was like, okay, well, do we want a boy or a girl? Well, I think having a girl would be really fun and cute. I don't want it to be necessarily frustrating. I want it to be cute and funny. So I decided to have a 16-year-old girl. I'll even give you her name. Her name is Elise. Or no, not Elise. I'm sorry, Elsie. Wow, I don't know why I said Elise. I was distracted by the air shots happening apparently. But Elsie. Elsie is her name, and she is, as I just explained, a very, how to even describe her? So she's a cheerful, optimistic girl that just kind of comes and goes like a storm. When she arrives in a town, she is happy and solves a bunch of things, and she kind of leaves after miraculously stumbling upon and solving all these issues. To put it into perspective, so she calls herself the Knight of Sunshine and Rainbows. So please don't bother me, Ara. Thank you. So the Knight of Sunshine and Rainbows is what she calls herself, and she's dressed in an outfit that she thinks kind of represents that. She has a white frilly blouse on, but then has like a rainbow capelet, almost like a stole over her, kind of reaching down almost to her like her elbows, over that. And then she has a yellow, kind of golden yellow skirt, knee-high boots, and she has a really clumsily made, we'll say, rainbow bow that kind of holds her ponytail, brown hair ponytail in place. She, think about it almost like a child's drawing, that same sort of charm to it. Like, it's not well made, but somehow it looks cute. That same sort of thing. And then kind of has golden hazel eyes. So interesting eye combination there. But yeah, that's Elsie, and calling herself the Knight of Sunshine and Rainbows. And so she loves to introduce herself as that, and people kind of go, huh? What are you talking about? Well, her goal is, she wanted to go, ever since she was young, she wanted to go on a journey and, explore the world, see all these beautiful sights, and, spread sunshine and happiness throughout the world. Somewhere along the line, the rainbow thing happened, and that might be a plot point, but she's coming in, helping people, and then if she comes across problems, she solves them almost like a rainbow breaking through the storm clouds you know, that same sort of gloom, you know, rainbow breaking through the gloom. And so she is very cute. You know, I've already gotten, last week I wrote 6,000 words. You know, I have pretty much everything planned out for books 1, 2, and 3. Very, very cute and adorable. She is, I ain't gonna give anything away with it, but you know, maybe more to the story than just her. And there's gonna be a main trio of characters. The third of which you won't meet until book 3, but number 2, her name is Chloe, and she, you know, wants to be a knight, wants to be a hero. You know, not just a knight, but she wants to be a hero for reasons. For very good reasons, but for reasons. Find out more about that as you go. But you know, she's 15, going on 16 soon, so the age of adulthood in this world, by the way, is 15. So that's why she didn't leave on her journey until then. But you know, she is a sword and shield user. Has a really, really nice, nice sword that her you know, grandparents gave her as a gift. She left. They saved up money for a long time to help get it because they knew she wanted to go on this adventure. And you know, there's a couple of facets of her journey, but the biggest one is, of course, to get strong enough to be able to protect those she wants to protect, and you know, just like a hero. So she is in the town where Elsie shows up at in the first book, and you know, she's fiery, but she's very diligent. You know, she wants to help people and wants to do it, you know, the best way, and so she takes things very methodically usually, and Elsie is very much the opposite. So there's a lot of shenaniganry that's going to happen with that, and their relationship over the series and how it will grow. Not to mention the first book, and then maybe even the second book. So we'll see. But you know, it's going to be a fun dichotomy, we'll say, and it's going to be one of those books where rarely is the end result going to be in doubt, because Elsie is just that broken. But along the way, what's going to happen and how the things are going to get solved, or you know, if they don't get solved, you know, that's the sort of thing that's going to be really interesting about the series. And you know, of course, it's going to be cute seeing Elsie run around. I know that, you know, it's going to be a really big hit with that, but I think it's going to be a really, really fun one. It was super easy to write the first 6,000 words after I got past the prologue. It was just so easy. And, you know, one of those where I know it's going to continue being really easy to write. I'm probably going to do a bit of writing on later on today. So, really excited about that. It's very fun. Yeah, what can I say? It's a exciting series, and I'm planning to do another big series. It's gonna be one of those where it could go for as little or as long as I want. You know, there is an ending generically planned, which could easily change, but unlike the other one, which is definitely set in stone, I got that real planned out entirely. But hers is gonna be more of an episodic based style, almost not necessarily like a Pokemon, but you know, it does have the flow to it. Whereas with Pokemon, some of the episodes, aside from like the gym leaders and whatnot, you could probably just go plop and plop it else over in the timeline and be more or less okay. You do a lot of filler stuff. You know, the same sort of thing where, you know, every story does kind of build, but usually not near as much as some other series. It's more focused on the episodic. You know what shenaniganry is she going to get up to, and etc., etc. But we'll see. Nice. 39, 2 more to go. Again, just a light thing saying 2 more to go. I might end up, after I get to 850 or 900, even maybe 1,000, I'll make my marker. If I get that much, I'll swap over to coal. But hard to argue if I'm getting uninterrupted iron time. But I'm full. Yeah, hard to argue that. In fact, no reason not to continue doing our environment for a while. Let's see. But yes, the long term is for both series to hopefully be published. You know, probably start looking around at publishing houses and whatnot after I finish. I'll probably finish the first Project Hero. And first, hoping once I get both done, I'll be able to do a good start searching at least the first book of each. For some reason, I feel like the first book might be a little bit higher sell depending, but we'll see. I'd like to eventually, or I'd like to kind of do the reverse of how most light novels kind of go about. The light novels usually in Japan, they get published, and a couple years later, they sometimes, if they get popular enough, make the way over to here in terms of anime and light novel eventually. But English translations usually take a long time, if at all. Usually it happens by fan translations. I would love to see it actually happen in reverse, where it gets popular here, gets over there, gets popular, and then like manga and hopefully an anime even. Both of these series could be really good ones for that, I think. But we'll see. You never know what life's going to bring. I don't expect to hit it rich or anything, but I'm having a lot of fun writing them, and that's the most important thing. And that was a lot of chatting, but I hope it was interesting to y'all. That's what I've been working on. That's what a lot of my Saturdays and Sundays are kind of taking up with. I take a good chunk of the afternoon and work on hammering those out, and do a lot of my planning during the week and spare moments in the evenings, whatnot. Just kind of make sure I have everything figured out. Though at this point, I have books 1 and 2 ready to go, and actually all 3 books for the I forgot to say project name, of course. Project Sunshine and Rainbows. It's the only thing you can say. Project Sunshine and Rainbows. Fitting. So Project Sunshine and Rainbows, I have books 1 to 3 pretty much set in stone in terms of how they're going to proceed. I got more details and other events that are going to happen within books 2 and 3 I need to hammer out. Book 1 is 100% done. Book 2 is almost 100% done in terms of the planning. I got the sketch for book 3 ready to go. Project Hero, again, that's a little bit harder to write. I have first 9 books planned out more or less in terms of their story. What happens within them, I don't have too far in. Book 1 is completely planned out, of course, and mostly getting close to being done. Book 2 is road-mapped out a little bit more heavily than the rest. There's a lot more left to add in there, but I got my plans for that. I just got to flesh it out a little bit more. And of course, books 3 and 4 are more heavily road-mapped out than the later ones, but got a little bit more planning I do figuring those out. But definitely Project Hero is coming on, so I'm not too worried about it. But excuse me, we'll have to see. I can probably change off of this. Music 1, what's that? Oh. Oh. Not sure I'm sold on this one. We'll see. We'll play for a little bit. Long ways. This is a good example of how exponential the XP increases. Usually every 7, I think it's 7 levels. Maybe it was 9. I forget the number. I think it's 7 levels. You basically have to earn however much you earned in the last, entire rest of your levels you gained. So you got to double your XP every 7 levels effectively, I believe is the rule. So for example, you can kind of see this in progress in how the smithing goes. Let me make sure I keep running. The smithing, we have 15,461. You need 16,000 and 16 and a half almost. Mining, we have 34,790. We need 37,000. So obviously there's 8 levels between them, but that same sort of thing remains where 15,000 times 2 would actually be 38. That'll put you right about that spot. So it gets exponential as you go along, where you keep needing more and more and more. So it's easy to get to, relatively easy to get to like the 30s, the 40s, sometimes even the 50s, but after that, XP usually slows down significantly and it becomes a bigger grind. Okay, this is driving me nuts. Nope, not organ music. Let's do pinball. Perfect. So, I mean, what else is there to say about that? Just, well, more time we spend grinding, the better. Early grinding now will make our membership that much easier. Of course, there's still going to be a lot of grinding in membership, but it's nice. Not sure what the thresholds that I want to reach before then are, or even if I will actually force myself to stick within those thresholds, but ideally I would get to 40s in all my stats for combat-wise. See if I do, but that'd be nice because having Runite early on for membership is super useful for a lot of the early quests that are valuable to do, like the Grand Tree I can think of is a very good one. Not sure off the top of my head whichever ones. Obviously Waterfall quest, but that one's not necessarily a hard one to do either way. But just being able to get all those stats to 40 for combat wise is going to be useful for making a good headway. Also good to do the Zanara series up until the point where fairy rings are released. Won't be able to right away because you need to get farming up, but super useful. Because once you get fairy rings, travel becomes much, 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 much faster. Much faster. Instead of having to run everywhere, you basically just teleport to an area and then make your way from there. Rune crafting, I don't know how much of it I'll do. I don't know how much I'm going to want to do. Rune crafting has its points, but one of those where it's important. We're going to need to do it at some point probably, but it's a pain. The crafting... Oop, not full. Turn my music down so that's a little loud. But crafting is going to be pretty important for membership as well, because you're going to want to be able to make the higher end jewelry especially. And also you're gonna want dragon leather armor is gonna be super important too. But we're not gonna get to 60s probably for membership. That one's not a big deal. Fire making 50 is the goal for Winter Tote. Really fun, but also very dangerous. Membership only minigame where you high risk of dying, but you get a lot of fire making experience. Technically it's better to go low combat level to Winter Tolt, but I'm not going to worry about it. But ideally if you're level 3 or level 4 and you have a whole bunch of like shrimper stuff, that can save you a lot of high-end healing items, but I think I'll still be good with the trial on that. And let's see, woodcutting as high as I can get it, obviously. If I can get to the point where I can make or cut magic trees, that would be fantastic. Almost certainly not going to happen. 75. Yew trees would be wonderful. Probably not going to happen. Maples are my bare minimum, though. Speaking of, I do want to try and have as many points as I can for the miscellaneous quests. Those are super important because I get to see resources every day for cost of gold. Granted, you have to have gold to do it. I don't have gold yet, but yeah, it gives you a whole bunch of free, trees or maple logs or a bunch of coal if you want it. Super, super useful. Again, fire making being what it is, that's whatever. Fishing, honestly, fishing at this point I don't care about. Getting lobsters would be good to the point where I can do that. I think that's 50. I'm curious if I want to check. Oh, that's right. It's cage 40. Okay, lobsters 40 would be good because then I don't want to do too much lobster fishing in non-member worlds, but because it's over in Crown, it's a pain in the rear end. But the lobsters, back to auto. Lobsters in Catherby is a really, really good fishing spot. And there's a bank nearby, so you can start banking those. Super useful. What else? Buying and smithing, obviously, as high as I can get them. Sucks, though, because no matter how high I raise it, it's not going to be high enough. Sounds bad to say, but putting it this way, unless I get to 85 and be able to make my own rune knight, I mean, what can you do? It's just at some point you're going to have to accept that you're not going to be able to make the gear and you're just going to have to wear your adamantite or buy it or farm it. It is what it is. Again, 85 I think is the gear for rune knight, which is absolutely insane if you think about how long it takes to farm up that much stuff. Excuse me. Now, range is the one I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get up to 40. I'd like to. Whether or not I can is another story. It's a lot of arrow farming, even though I'm going to have a lot of light arrows from farming minotaurs. It's still, we'll see. Also, I can't make bows, so there'll be a limit once I hit the upper end of what you can get as a non-member. Starting here. Please don't take over my spot. Please, pretty level 3, do not do that to me. We're friends. Oh, if she does, I guess it's whatever. Not like I can't go start doing cool at some point. I'm not going to do it quite yet. If I can get to 40 or 41 with just this is good. I'll do it. I'll happily do it because, again, more iron I can get, better. Need as much iron as I can get. Takes forever. Let's see. Yeah, too many member skills. I'm not going to be able to level up for a while. If I can get a nice chunk of logs for construction, that would be ideal. I don't think I'm going to be able to, but that would be an ideal situation if I can get, even 500 logs would be a good start. It's not going to be near enough for construction. That's the bad part. Construction takes forever to load or to level, and it's expensive as heck. But there's a lot of good points to having a player-owned house, so. Well, thank you. Thank you. Not sure if you just decided you didn't want to do iron or if you're just being a bro, but I appreciate it. Pretty rare to have this long of an uninterrupted point up here, which I probably just totally jinxed, but I will happily take it. What? I should probably check. Melbourne Idol. I try not to do too much on my phone, so I will keep this brief. I fear that I have used up all my bars. Oh, nope. I think we're good, actually, still. I have 3,000 left. Eh, 2 hours got me that many. I'm going to assign it to something else. What do we want to do here? Let's do... Yeah, screw it. Mining. More mining. I can mine while I mine. So I am playing an idle version of RuneScape effectively. I have 80 plus smithing and mining. I am about to start being able to make runite gear. It is fantastic. Also, I am getting a ton of money in there because you can get a glove that gives you gems in every mine. It's all the gems. It's beautiful. Level 40, by the way. One more to go. About 4 or 5 more inventories left. This was it, 35 per rock. Yeah. But we'll get there. Sorry, I feel like I gotta itchy nose all of a sudden. Prayer. That's why I want to make sure I get to 43 before membership. If I don't get up to 43 before membership, I will be having a very hard time against some of the fights there. Like, bare minimum, 95% of the membership you want to be able to do prayer flicking. And, we'll have to see how it goes, but I'd like to be able to do that. It would be cool if I could get, take out Elvarg Dragon Slayer 1, but I don't know if I will be able to. That might be a little bit of a stretch. Elvarg's pretty strong. You usually need to have pretty good gear to fight him. Like, if I actually decide I'm going to go after him, I will farm up an inventory of lobsters, but otherwise he hits hard. Excuse me. Though with full runite gear, you can beat him. Even the adamite gear might be able to... I can speak. Adamantite gear, you might be able to beat him, but if you have a rune scimitar and rest. Yo, welcome to the stream, friend. One Punch Pickle. That is an awesome name. As you can see, we're doing a little bit of mining at the Verak iron ore rocks. So, almost to my goal of 41 smithing. I don't have a runite pickaxe in reserve, but we'll probably swap over to coal after I hit 41. Start working towards making some steel bars and eventually some steel gear to sell. How are you doing this fine Sunday morning? I'm presuming based on the fact that you're here. Oop, I'm new and I don't got membership, trying to get 4 mil to become a member. Oh no, my rocks have been stolen. Well, let's quick swap. World swap, let's see. Well, we'll try 431, see if I get lucky. I'll give you some tips in just a second. I just want to make sure I get back to the grind before I get distracted. Nope. That is one problem with the iron rocks, they get full. Oh, perfect. Okay, good. We're back in business. So, to get money, are you a Iron Man or are you not? I'm presuming you're not an Iron Man if you're new, because that's usually a pretty intense game mode for a new player. But if you are an Iron Man, if you don't know what Iron Man is, that means you're not. Iron Man mode is effectively a challenge mode in which you cannot trade with other players, you can't do anything on the Grand Exchange except for, you know, buying bonds, etc., etc. So it's pretty much just like a solo mode. You know, you're playing it, you're not able to, instead of having to, for example, if I wanted to raise my smithing up really, really quickly and I had a bunch of money, I could go buy, you know, steel bars off of the Grand Exchange. But here, you have to farm everything. So, that makes it a lot easier. So, what's your stats like? Are you good? you said you're new, so you're still pretty low in terms of your combat or your other stats. You know, this is what my spread is down here. But what's your highest couple of stats? Because your big money makers are going to be selling items on the Grand Exchange at that point, which, granted, you don't have too many slots to do so, but you have to make the best use of them. But for example, if you have a high smithing or mining, you can make a whole bunch of money by selling bars, or possibly just selling a bunch of coal. Everyone needs coal. If you have a lot of combat stats, you can get potentially rich if you kill some of the stronger enemies. Like in Karamja, there's a volcano that has the lesser demon. You can drop the rune medium helm. Not a ton of money, but it definitely can help. But let's see. Tree chopping is a big one too. If you have a high wood cutting, attack is 5. Okay. Cooking is useful, definitely. A lot of people like buying stuff like lobsters, but I don't know if you have the fishing to get lobsters, and it's not very easy to make money off of it as a non-member. But that could be an option. If your stats are low, 4 million will take a while to grind up. You know, RuneScape is a grind game, so be aware of that. But if you put your mind towards it, you can start focusing on particular avenues if you want. But I'd say play the game naturally. There's a lot of stuff to do in non-membership. I'm not a member right now, as you can tell. I want to grind all my stats up a little bit. 100k right now, but yeah, nice. 100k is a good starting sum. Yeah, let's see. So ways you can make money. Have you ever checked out, let's see, I'm trying to think of which websites show off the Grand Exchange pricings, but that's going to be where you're going to make a bunch of money. If you can buy some items low, like, I'm not sure, maybe iron ore and copper or coal, and then smith it into bars, you may be able to make a chunk off of there. Oh, well, that's easy enough. So, to get defense up, so all your stats, and for melee especially, you have 3 main attack stats. You have attack, which increases how accurate you are. It decreases the amount of zeros you're likely to get. You have strength, which increases the amount of damage you can deal. And you have defense, which, of course, reduces the chance of you taking the larger blows. Now, raising these stats, like for example attack, to equip better gear, you need to increase your attack. Right now I can increase up to steel. Now, I only have up to steel because I wanted to make sure I could equip the steel pickaxe. But you can eventually get up to rune as a non-member. Same with defense. You can get, better gear. Now, how to get those stats up? Let me quick dump my inventory and then I'll go over that. So, you have different attack styles, and this is important. Accurate, you can see, raises stab or attack XP. Or stab is actually a type of attack. For example, let me show you off here. So every weapon has different attack bonuses: stab, slash, or crush. You can see pickaxes are best at stabbing attacks. So you want to focus on anything that does that. Now obviously you want to deal with like a sword or a scimitar especially. Scimitars are the best to raise your stats up usually. But going back to here, if I'm using spike, I'm only going to raise attack up. If I use impale, I would get strength up. If I use block, that gives me defense experience. So that's what you want to use. Usually it's in these 3 slots you want to always use. This one's usually a miscellaneous slot that either can, might raise attack, might raise them all evenly or whatnot, but this is using crush, which isn't as good as slash if you remember, or stab. So using the best damage type for your weapon, again, it's usually going to be one of these 3: attack, strength, or defense. So the best place, tell you what, after this, a shield won't raise your damage, but it will help protect you. You can't use it to train. You'll want to have a weapon. But tell you what, I will show you after I finish this inventory off. I'll show you where a good spot to do some training is. Then I'll explain why. Where have you been training your attacks so far? Have you been killing chickens, or have you been kind of just fighting goblins? What have you been doing? Lumberjack goblins, yep. And a new player, that's pretty typical. Now, that's an easy enemy to fight, but it's actually not the best one for you, and I'll explain why. So, you may not think it, but killing chickens, or especially cows, is actually probably the best way to train early on. Now, do you know how experience works with combat? Like in terms of how you gain those sorts of experience points. Unlike other games, you don't get it by killing the enemy. You don't get a bonus for killing like a giant rat, for example. You can see walking over there. Okay, so you know that every time you hit something, if you deal damage, you get 4 XP per damage point dealt. So if you deal 1 point of damage, you get 4 attack, or 4 strength, whatever your attack stat is. If you do 2, you get 8. And you get 1 or 2 points of hit points per damage as well. So having enemies that have a lot of health is usually pretty good, especially if they don't have high defense. Yeah, so it's 4 per, and I'll show you in a little bit how that works. I just want to finish off this inventory, as long as I have the rocks free. Keep in mind, if you ever want to farm iron rocks, this area outside of Varric being right here, got the bank right here, you can just run back and forth. This is the best spot for iron, and you'll want to eventually farm that. Keep that in the back of your head, but I will finish off this load, and then I will show you a couple spots to farm, and probably the best one I'll show you. Now, chickens are good because you get feathers, and you can use those for fishing, and when you become a member, you can use the feathers as well for fletching to make arrows. You'll need a whole bunch of those, but you can always just buy those from shops or the Grand Exchange, so that one isn't a big deal. Cows are really good though because of crafting. You're going to want to get a whole bunch of leather for crafting, and so cows drop cowhide. You bring cowhide to a tanner, you pay a small fee, you make leather. Then you can use that leather along with a needle and thread to raise your crafting skill. Why is that good? Because being able to make leather armor is very important for being archery, and also you can eventually make dragon hide. You can make rings, magical rings, and you can enchant. It's very, very useful. Okay, so I showed you. I'll say goodbye to my iron spot for now. Let me put on some combat gear. In Ironman, I get access to a few things. This is not the best gear, so do not be surprised if this isn't great. I'll grab a couple of these too. Four of the rings? Yeah, well, I'll show you. Oh, that's right. Well, I had something there. Put my steel pickaxe in the bank. Going back to crafting. So, jewelry. Early on, members can get some stuff here, but gold, don't worry about that. Once you can start doing sapphire rings, and then emerald rings, or necklaces, or especially amulets. Usually the amulets and the rings are what you usually want to aim for. But sometimes, they're useful. Different rings and different amulets and different necklaces, when you enchant them by magic, and let me show you quick. Enchant, level 1 enchant, which, didn't want to click on that. That lets you enchant sapphire and opal jewelry. You have emerald, etc., etc. Now, every ring, every amulet, every necklace has a different effect when enchanted. For example, perfect. Let me just teleport back to town and show you. If you didn't know, to get back to Lumbridge quick, cast Lumbridge Home Teleport, and you can get there within, 15 seconds or so. It takes 30 minutes to recharge it, but and if you move things around the inventory, that happens. My friend, did you what that? Oh yes. Also, bringing a little bit of food along. In this case, I'm not going to take much damage from cows, so I'm not too worried about it, but you lose you 5 or 6. Ah, gotcha. Showed you that. Yep, very important. So, have you done too much fishing? Let me show you what you should do if you haven't. Because you're going to want to get some fishing probably going, because that's not only a good later moneymaker, but it's also very important for combat because you're going to need a lot of food, because you will take a lot of damage against stronger things. So I should go back this way. So we're in Lumbridge. We're going to be making our way over. I'm just kind of deviating a little bit here. We're going to make our way down over there. That's to the fishing area. You'll want to make sure, of course, you have a small fishing net, though there are some next to the spot. But as you can see, I have shrimp. I'm not going to be actually fishing anything now, but this is where you're going to want to go to get some starting supplies for not only fighting cows, but also for working at getting your fishing up. You want to get your fishing up to 20 if possible in this area. You can do that for free. You don't have to use any resources, you don't have to use bait or anything. And you would just go ahead and fish in these areas. Now if you have the net on, you can see it's this. Now I have a program called RuneLight. If you don't have that, you probably want to take a look for it. It's a very helpful program. It highlights things, it tells you how much experience you get, etc. It's a third-party program that you can get right off of Jagex' website itself. They have a link to it. Use the link. And you can download it, and then you log right in through the RuneLight program from then on. Really, really useful because there's a quest helper. There, you can see all these quests. If you open up and start a quest, oh, you have RuneLight, perfect. Then you already know. Doing quests for RuneLight is easy mode. It's beautiful. Doesn't always answer every question with a quest, but it gives you a very, very big heads up and tell you who to talk to. Now, you're probably farming over in Lumbridge if I had to guess for the cows, and that's a good spot to do it. I'm going to show you a little bit better spot, especially for when, more active hours and there's a lot of people on, because you don't want to really be fighting over who's going to, get all the cows. Eventually you're going to want to be able to have 3 or 4 cows where you can just kind of bounce between and beat up. There's a slightly better spot, but let me work my way over here. You're probably farming right over in this patch if I had to guess. You is me. Nice name. And you'll see a lot of players, especially higher level ones sometimes, and they're going to beat up all the cows. And, it's good because you can always grab all the cowhide, because sometimes they'll leave it behind, or the bones. But otherwise, there's a better cow patch. A little bit farther away, but closer to a bank so you can drop off your cowhide quicker, and definitely a lot less crowded most times. Let me see if I can work my way. So you're going to want to follow the pathway. If you don't know where Falador is, that's where we're heading. It's a city in the northwest. We're going to be passing by Draenor, which is right over in this area. I'm going to show you on the map. First, working our way right over here. Our target is actually right here, so it's not too far away. And just like the iron rocks I was farming earlier, it's generally better to not get involved with too many people at a time when farming, if you can help it. Sometimes there's no helping and you guys have to deal. Or if you really want to get a lot of bones or something and people aren't picking them up, then it's good. But otherwise, going over here. Now, I would suggest, in addition to bringing like 5 or 6 shrimps at first, you also bring along bronze axe and a tinderbox, because you're going to fight cows. Right now I'm training strength XP, but you're going to beat up a whole bunch of cows, and then you're going to probably be hurt, so you can cook all the meat that they're dropping and keep going until you have a full inventory of just cowhide and your axe and your tinderbox. Again, even with the gear I have on, I'm still taking some damage. I have effectively iron gear. This is special Ironman only stuff, because they give you a little bit of a leg up early, but effectively I'm wearing iron gear with not very good boots or gloves. And I have an iron mace because it was free and I found it. It'd be better to have a scimitar, but I have not made it yet. For looking... Oh, I see. Like that. I don't know. Let's see. Hello, 16. Nice. Can't do it while in combat. But you can see this. There's like no one here compared to the other place. Usually there's no one ever here. If there is, you just change worlds. I don't think you can change Keybinds. You can change some keybinds, but I don't think you can actually change the arrows, unfortunately. But what I do is I use my mouse. I just use my middle button on my mouse. If you have a mouse with a center button, you can just press it in and then drag back and forth. You can scroll in to zoom in, scroll out, zoom out, and of course, you know, press and hold and drag. So I would say, as you can see, I don't have my hand on the keyboard at all. Rarely do I need to. So that would be my suggestion. And if you don't, then obviously WSD is good. That's a nice little trick. Yeah, rarely do I ever need to have my hand on the keyboard unless I'm typing or if I'm trying to, you know, type or, you know, do something else random. But otherwise, RuneScape's very good for one-handing it. Also, if you have not been grabbing your bones, please start grabbing bones. They're very, 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 very important. Not for the fact that they're bones, but because you bury them. I don't know if your friend told you, but yep. So I'm glad I brought that up. So bones on their own, they're not worth that much. You can sell them. Some people will buy them. So if you really want to make, you know, some money, you can try selling them. Right now they're averaging 77 a piece, and the Grand Exchange, which isn't that much. I wouldn't do that. You need to get the prayer up. So what prayer does? Prayer, I have level 15 prayers. I have access up to here. You can increase some of your stats early on, like your magic or your strength, you know, how much damage you deal, chance, by a certain amount, and it lasts. Usually, a point of prayer lasts 2 or 3 seconds, and then, you know, eventually you trickle down to 0, and then you have to recharge by praying at a altar. Conveniently, there's an altar right in Lumbridge, but there's altars all over the place. Early on, that's what you do with prayer. And to raise your prayer, you bury bones. Or 4 XP a bone, or 4.5 XP. So boom. There's 5, it doesn't show a point 4.5, there's 4, etc. Now, again, early on, prayer isn't as big of a deal, but it can help. It can help, you know, give you a boost. Later on, prayer is extremely important. Free to play and membership. You want to get at least 43 prayer. Let me show you why after I start fighting another cow. So, prayer. There's 3 prayers right here that you are going to want to be able to access. And 43 is the one to be able to access, the most important one. These are your protection prayers. Protect from magic, protect from missiles, and protect from melee. Now, why are these important? Because they extremely reduce the amount of damage you take from whatever combat style is fighting you. Magic or melee, whatever. Now, right now it doesn't make a difference, but when you're fighting something that can deal like 13 damage in a hit or 15 damage in a hit, you want to reduce your damage you take as much as possible. So that is extremely important. Now, there's techniques like prayer flicking, instead of just hitting the button and letting it go. Yeah, absolutely. So bury as many bones as you can, and then get as high as you can. Everything you kill, it adds up. Just bury every bone. Eventually, you can get big bones from fighting things like hill giants and whatnot, and then those are worth 16 each, which is also very important. As you can see, I'm just grabbing all the cow hides as well. I'm not taking too much damage, so I really didn't need to bring the shrimp, but until you get to like 15 defense or higher strength, so you're killing them quick, you're probably going to take a lot of damage, so make sure you keep bringing some food with you, and then of course the axe and the tinderblock, so you can cut down a tree while you're fighting, after you fight a few, and then cook a few raw beefs. I'm not grabbing the beef because I don't need it, but if I was earlier on in my previous video, I was taking a lot of damage. I actually got down to 1 HP because the cow was just absolutely murderous. But yes, the prayer spells, prayer abilities, missiles, melee, and magic, you definitely want those. And like I was starting to say, there's a prayer looking thing that don't worry about it right now, but once you get higher up and you start wanting to get better at combat, that's one of the biggest techniques you can learn. And there's guides for it on YouTube, but there's guides for it, text guides, so look it up down the line. Right now it doesn't matter. But it will help extend the amount of prayer points you spend, which is why it's important. Because prayer points don't last for too long, and then prayer potions to restore them when you're out and about fighting things are expensive. Of course, if you're going back to town, you know, use the altar for free. Let's see. There is a very nice spot I will show you on the map. If you want to get bones for free, unequip all your gear. Do not ever bring anything you are not prepared to lose into the wilderness. If you don't know, the wilderness is north of this nice little line right here. It's a player killing area. The far north you go, the more likely a higher level player can attack you, because the range that someone can attack you increases. Like for example, someone level 60 can attack a level 3 person right off the bat, but eventually as you go farther north, that person could, you know, maybe eventually get to the point where they could. It's pretty close. But anyway, right here, this spot right here, there's a bunch of bones. There's technically 15, ignore the one that's right here. There's 14 bones out and around this little area right here. Just small bones. So if you pick them all up and then go to another world and pick up the other, you have a full inventory of 28. Bury them, repeat the process. It's an easy way to get free prayer experience. But, you know, it's slow and eventually it kind of fades off. But that can be a way to power level your prayer. Total level. So total level is a combination of all your levels for all your skills. So, like for example, 5 plus 17 plus 15 plus 1. It also includes members' skills. If you hover over it, it says free total level 220. It doesn't make a difference necessarily in terms of combat or anything else. What it does, though, is that there are special worlds where you can access them if you have higher grant or total skill levels. There's, I think, 500 and 750 or something like that. So if you feel like you're crowded and you want to have access to certain things, sometimes it can be better to go to those more exclusive worlds. But then again, if you're on a more exclusive world, everyone else is higher level, so they might be focusing the same thing anyway. But it can be nice to go to a less crowded world. For example, you can see World 432 has a 750 total skill level, but only has 42 people on it, whereas my world has 85, so you're less likely to run into someone depending on where you're at. It can be nice for some things. Other than that, total skill level does not matter. After I finish this inventory, I'm actually going to go back or go do some coal farming, but I wanted to show you for the cows. And as for where to bring your cow hide, over here, you're paying at the gate, completing the quest, or going around. There is a tanner. Where is it? Like right over in here. I forget where exactly. I haven't done it in a while, but there's a tanner. You just tan everything and go back to the bank or over there and then do it again. You have to pay a little bit of money to do the tanning, but it's the best way to make a little bit of chump change by selling on the Grand Exchange, but also just, very important for crafting. As an aside, leather sells for quite a lot. Right now, cowhide, as you can see, costs 205 on the Grand Exchange, and if you tan things, it costs even more. So it can be a good way to get a little bit of money if you don't want to raise your crafting. You know, kill cows, work on your combat, and also get a little bit of money on the side. It's a great way to give yourself a slow step towards that 4 million marker that you're aiming for. Keep in mind, of course, you're not going to get there quick. 4 million takes a while as a non-member until you get higher up, which is why, I'd say just enjoy the journey, because even though you can get certain advantages on a member world, it's, it takes a while to, get to some of those higher end quests there anyway. So raising your combat, especially some of your other stats, so you can, a better jump start and make better use of your membership is important. Let's see, because my goal right now is I'm planning to get to 40, hopefully in all my combat skills. I like to be able to use Runite. I don't know if I'll be able to make Runite. Probably not. 85 smithing is absolutely insane. Ooh, prayer level. There we go. Nice. But I'll show you. This is the cow spot I would suggest right here. So if you are in Lumbridge right over here, that's probably the cow area you were farming at, but you just work your way along the path, follow it all the way west, and then you can head straight north across here, or come around, either way. When I'm done, I'm going to go to this bank right here and drop my stuff off. As you can see, it's a lot closer than walking all the way back and then trudging up on top of the lumbridge for your bank. So it's the best place to farm cows, pretty much. Oh, I did get a level up for health. Nice. Like I was saying, so my goal for membership would be 40 and my combat stats, including magic. Ideally magic being 50 or higher. Crafting, if I can get up high, great. Mining and smithing as high as I can get. Fishing, I want at least 40 so I can start fishing lobsters. And then long-term stretch goal would be wood cutting at 60 so I can do yew trees. But I doubt I'm going to get there. But we'll see. Oh, small point. In terms of what to level up for melee, if you're leveling up melee stuff, strength first, then technically attack, and then defense. I did it in a different order because I was building to try not to die in a very difficult quest early on, but it gives you a whole bunch of smithing, so that's why I did it. Called the Knight Sword. Gives you basically effectively 29 smithing if you can beat it, but you get attacked at the end by a whole bunch of dangerous enemies in the dungeon, so. Also, I'm sure you're aware about worlds. I was kind of mentioning it earlier, but you know, different worlds. Some worlds have different like special things for them, like especially for membership worlds, you'll see a lot of specialty ones like say castle worlds or castle wars or like, you know, blast forge or this and that. So those worlds are more likely if you're trying to do a specific activity, you log on to them and then likely you'll find people there doing that sort of thing. But otherwise, I just pick based on what has the lowest population, so I don't have as many people interfering with my farming. Okay, so as you can see, I wasted a few shrimp because I barely took any damage. So to me, the shrimp is not worth near as much as a cowhide, so I just ended up eating the shrimp. But when I was first starting out, I probably went through 7 shrimp and like 5 or 6 raw beef per inventory. So, actually, get the bones first so I can bury them. Then grab the cowhide. Let's see. Get a little bit of run going so I don't waste that. Oh, if you didn't know, a couple of useful setting tips. Shift click to drop items is extremely useful, especially when you are using, doing fishing or something and cooking and you're burning stuff. You know, just to kind of get an example. I'm not going to actually lose it, but, you know, boom, drop cowhide. If these were like stuff I wanted to drop, like they're burnt fish or something, it'd be really easy to do. Also, if you didn't know, stuff that's dropped on the ground is unique to you for about, I think, a minute or so, and then it becomes everyone can see it and grab it. So if you accidentally drop something, don't panic, but don't leave it there forever. And it does eventually go away after like 3 minutes or so. Okay, so drop those. Grabbing my pickaxe. Oh, I guess since we're here, I can try dying. Why not? I'll show you where the best place to farm coal is, but probably going to get myself killed. Yeah, very useful. Also important stuff in there. I'm trying to remember. Display. Hide roofs. This is a great spot. Show you an example. You can't see anything. You see nothing. Now you can see everything. It's very useful. There's other nice things, but like for example, me, I used to play RuneScape back in the day, so every area has its own special music. Like right now it's a workshop in this particular area. They updated it to modern, which changes so that every area has like a large number of tracks from a big old area instead of a small area. But for me, the individual music, each spot is kind of, you know, I have memories associated, so I kind of keep it classic. I might not be on your world too, keep in mind. I'm on world 434, you can see right here. But, okay, so this area, I'm going to show you. This is a great mining spot for later on, not now. Right now, you probably, if you haven't gotten 15 mining and smithing, just do it down here for the copper and tin. 14 copper, 14 tin, call it a day. Yeah, then you'll never see me if you're on 436. But right here, there's an entrance to the Dwarven Mine, very close to a bank. Dwarven Mine is, you know, go figure, a great mining spot. However, there's dangerous enemies, like scorpions, which are going to attack me. And there's also King Scorpion, which is somewhere, I'm sure. One of the best spots to farm, though, if you can do it safely. Past here, you need 62 mining, so. But this has adamantite rocks, mythor rocks, full rocks. But those King Scorpions, those are... Ooh, no, I don't want to attack. That's what we're going to examine. Those are very dangerous. Wow, scorpions shouldn't grow that big. I actually just add a better spot to do coal. I wanted to show this off to you just so you can keep it in mind for future reference. There's also gold there. It's not a great spot for gold, but it is a spot. Mining guild is by far the best if you can go and make it in there with 62 mining, but I'm nowhere near that yet. Yeah, I'm a little too low level to be able to farm here safely without getting attacked by scorpions. Coal takes so long to regenerate, my god. Oh, stay back. There we go. Also, a fun fact, coal is by far the most valuable ore in the game. Not necessarily in terms of monetary value, though it is usually around 159. Yeah, but coal you use for everything. Coal is used to make, besides for, bronze of course is made of, copper and tin. So that one's not made of everything. But then you got iron, which has 50% chance to not smith properly, or smelt. See if I'm safe here. I'm not, right away. Oh, okay. Yeah, and this is why this is terrible, especially when you're not higher level. I'll probably dip after a few more. You know what? I'll go the other place. That'll take too long. Once you're higher level, this is a great spot. And you only have to worry about King Scorpions. If you're over 64 combat level, I think the King Scorpions will not bother you at all. No, you're good. Yeah. The Valador is a really cool place. A lot of great, central quests and areas, and obviously the cow spot right here, just run up and down. But also the best spot for that mine to go in and out. Now, I'm gonna go to a different place to farm the coal. They added that a little more recently in recent times. But like I was saying, so coal is extremely valuable because I'll show you. Steel, 2 coal, 1 iron. Mithril, 4 coal. Adamant, 6 coal. Runite, 8 coal. That's why it's probably the most valuable, because you need a crap ton of it. Though the individual ores themselves, monetary-wise, are, other side of the wall. Yep. So I'm working my way over to the Barbarian Stronghold, which has a nice chunk of coal. I'm hoping to get at least enough coal to be able to make a steel axe and some other stuff. One side note, you can't make pickaxes in RuneScape, Old School RuneScape. I don't know why. RuneScape 3 you can, just Old School RuneScape you cannot. So if you need pickaxes, you can either go in through here or you can go in through here. This is both the Dwarven Mine. This is a safer way though. You go into the Dwarven Mine, and you go right over here. This will take you right here. You can buy pickaxes. Down here is where I was just at with the scorpions. Takes you right here. And here's the coal I was talking about. Very, very safe spot. They won't hurt you unless you attack them. And that's usually a lot closer together, so the best coal farming spot nowadays. The Dwarven Mine used to be the best by far, but now it's, I guess, only second best, and free to play at least. Oh, did you join my world? What's your in-game name, by the way? I'm going to guess it's not One Punch Pickle, as amazing as that would be. Take forever. Steel pickaxes against coal is not very good. It does the job, but it's not very good. And again, coal takes forever to mine anyway. I decided on my side I'm not going to buy the mithril or the adamantite pickaxe. I'm going to go straight to runite once I'm able to, because I'm going to save a bunch of money that way, but also, you know, runite pickaxe is the best. So I need level 41 mining to do that, so pretty close. Check one thing. Like, here. My goodness, would you finish mining, please? I'm gonna check the price of the rune pickaxe. I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure it's around 20,000 to buy. Oh, hey! Good job finding me. Sorry, I was on a different screen. Funny Fate 286. Boom. Feel free to add me as well. Also, I love the chef's hat. Hold on to that because it's actually very important to get into the cooking guild. Cooking guild is right here. Not too far away from us, actually. This is the cooking guild. You need a cooking hat to get in there, and like I forget, 40 or 60 cooking, something like that. Good job chasing me, actually. For a new player, working your way across the map is actually pretty impressive. Even though the free-to-play world is considered small, it's not that small. So, good job. Yes, this is, you can see, if you can get by yourself without any other people trying to mine these, you can just keep going back and forth between, ideally, these 3 or 4 rocks and just keep getting all the coal. Granted, my pickaxe sucks, so I'm not getting the mining done as quick as I should, but for now it works. Also, important thing to note, this right here, this is the entrance to the Stronghold of Security. What that is, if you're unaware, you'll probably see people wearing these funny looking boots all around, the swirls and whatnot, you know, rainbow colored boots. So they get those from the very depths of this place. The Stronghold Security is meant to teach you about how to keep your account secure. But they did it in a very fun way, and they put a bunch of, oh, there we go, now we're friends. They put a whole bunch of cool, you know, doors and stuff with asking questions that you have to go through, but also they give you rewards for doing so. Yeah, coal is hard to mine, so you're probably not going to be able to mine that till you're 30. But each tier, there's 4 tiers, and each tier has stronger monsters to fight, and these are unique monsters that can drop some special stuff. But also for each tier you get some money. I think you get like 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, or something like that for over the 4. I think the grand total is 20,000 over the entire dungeon for getting to the bottom. Wait, what? 30 years old? What? I'm confused. What did I say? Also, gotta watch out for attacking the barbarian by accident. I could probably beat him, but it would hurt. Especially since I don't have armor in. Ah, yep. it does. Okay, yeah. Yeah, it does take a long time to level up. You're almost to 15 though. That's your first break point. What's your smithing at? Is it also 14, or is it probably a little bit less if I had to guess? Best spot for you to work on your mining and smithing until then is still probably going to be, well, either down here, you got copper and tin, or there's also copper and tin right here, where I was doing my iron smithing earlier. We're right here, you just work your way in the barrack. And you saw me going back and forth between the bank and there. Smithing is 1. Okay, so make sure you're working on raising that up, because that's going to be how you power up yourself with combat gear, probably. So getting a bunch of tin now isn't too bad. But eventually you're going to need 1 tin and 1 copper per bronze bar. I will actually show you where to do your smithing and then where to do your gear making. Kind of teach you a little bit of stuff with that. Let's see, which is closer? Edgeville here or there? I guess Edgeville here is closer. So, for smithing, as you remember in the tutorial, you have to use a forge. Not a pottery armor. A forge to melt the bars. Or the ore into bars. The closest one is actually north of us, right here, this furnace. And in fact, this is the best furnace in free-to-play, and almost in the entire game, even in membership, because it's so close to a bank. Obviously, if you don't care about efficiency, it's whatever, but if you want to be efficient, that's the best one to do. You get a whole bunch of ore, you go up there, you do your smithing for the furnace, and then, yeah, then I would say head north right to Edgeville and then go right to the bank and then come back. Or if you have a bunch of, do you have copper as well? Not here, obviously, but in your bank. You don't need to have a house, you just go to the bank. Here, I'll show you. I'm not full, but that's good. Follow me. And if you didn't know, you can actually right-click on someone and follow. There we go. There's my 41. Bingo. All right, so I'll walk so we're not gonna get lost. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, I bet your friend probably taught you that. Yeah, we're just gonna head just to the north of here. I guess it would have been just as quick to go around, but this is Edgeville. If you've never been to Edgeville, this is a pretty well-known place for being right on the edge of the wilderness. But as long as you don't go into the wilderness, there is no danger. Above all, do not flick random lever. Do not flick that lever. Do not touch that lever. Oh, the other RuneScape, RuneScape 3. Also a very fun game. I like both. But yes, this is the bank right here. If you didn't know, there's a bank on the top of Lumbridge as well, but that one's Sushi. Yeah. Because the lever, I'll explain why you don't want to do a lever. The lever will take you, world map, that lever right there is a wilderness level. Where does it go? In membership, it goes up to here. I don't think free-to-play does anything, but in membership, it brings you up to the deep, deep, deep wilderness. And there's like a 40 level difference between where people can attack you. So if you're level 15 and someone's level, we'll say 48, they could easily crunch you and then call it a day. So if I were you, I'd grab 14 copper ore and 14 tin. I actually don't have any tin, but I'm going to do a little bit of smithing on my side. So, and then you just go right over here, right next door, and there's the forge. And it's very quick back and forth. It's the fastest in membership or non-membership to do your bar smelting. Oop, not silver. Pick the right one, Fuuya. Steel. Yep, this one right here. Now you'll notice it doesn't have an anvil. That's because there's an equally good spot not too far away that has an anvil. This is the best for the furnace, and you just go back and forth. You know, if you have enough run energy, you can do it. Eventually you will run out. That's okay. I should just withdraw. Usually it's best to get a whole bunch. I'm just showing you for an example. I don't have enough right now to really do it proud. I would just be going back and forth to do that. You know, if you get like 1,000 or a couple thousand, you know, not for bronze, you don't need that many, but you know, for the upper end, you're gonna want thousands. Well, later on, it's not too hard, especially if you're a member. It's not too hard to get, you know, a couple 100,000 or so within a single trip out fighting things, especially if you end up getting a really good gear drop. But you know, it's not like it's chump change either. So, but a lot of people like to help out new players, so keep that in mind. It's not like it's, you know, there's usually a big community aspect in RuneScape, which I think is really awesome. So don't be afraid to accept help if someone's ever offering it. Now, that said, you know, don't beg for it. I'm sure you're not going to, but you know, if someone's out offering help, don't hesitate to take it. It's, you know, it's a very welcoming community generally. It's been around for a while. Now, let me know when you're done with a little bit of smithing, and I'll show you where to do some hammering at. You want to make sure, of course, you have a hammer. If you don't, we'll have to stop by the general store. Oh, I guess I didn't think you did. For some reason, they don't have anything but tin ore. Okay, so you'll have to make sure you get copper. But let me show you where to get... You probably don't have a hammer yet, so let me show you. Come over here and you're going to want to buy. If you don't have any money on you, you might want to grab the coin, 1 coin, I think it is. But, you know, just talk to the shopkeeper, get a hammer, because you're going to need that for later. Not now, but I'll show you. You just grab, boom, hammer. You always have to have a hammer on you when you're doing smithing later on. Now, oh, yep. Not it's 1 gold. It's not like it's going to, you can get that much for being up a goblin. So, that's not a big deal. Now, let me show you after you grab a hammer. I know you don't have any bars, so we're not going to actually, you know, we're not going to be doing anything heavy here, but at the very least I can show you where, once you do have a bunch of bars, what to do with them. And again, you don't have to do these spots, but these are the most efficient by far, and so that's why you'll usually see a lot of people just using these 2 particular spots. This one for smithing the bars, and later for smithing the gear at the anvil. Let's see. As a random note, just put away for future reference. This area right here, right next to where we were farming the, I was farming coal, you were doing tin. This area right here is where you can get trout and salmon, which is by far the best way to level up fishing as a free-to-play, but you need level 20, and you need a fly fishing rod and feathers. That was just a random note, just right over here next to Barbarian Village. And then you just basically run back and forth between the bank, boom, 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 or either way. And it comes pre-equipped with a convenient, never-ending fire right there, so good way to get some fishing or cooking experience. Okay, so you got a hammer. Obviously, we're not going to do anything now, but follow me, and I'll show you after you get all your bars, and you got, you know, 200 bars or whatever in your bank stored. Of course, when you're doing traveling, you know, try to, you know, if we're going to be running, for example, try not to have as much in your inventory, because every kilogram you have, the run energy uses more and more to go. So. Oh, and this is Iron Mace right there. I don't know if you need a better weapon than that, but I might grab it. That's what I'm using right now. If all you're using is a bronze, you may just want to grab it. Right inside there. Eventually you're going to want to use scimitars. Oh, that's easy enough. I'll show you. Here, grab this first for a free, easy round weapon, and then follow me. In your upper right-hand corner, you see this little toggle run button right here. When you click on it and it turns yellow, that means you're going to be running. Of course, click off of it, and it turns back to normal and you walk. So if I want to run, I would toggle that. You got it. Now, the more you have in your inventory, the more you're going to be burning through, which is why all I have right now is a pickaxe. If I was smart, I would have took that off, but I don't care. Thanks to RuneLight, you can see, you have about a minute of runtime remaining with 76. Once it runs out, it naturally regenerates over time, and also naturally regenerates, a little bit by little bit. But as a fun note, you can keep track of your health right there. You can activate a quick prayer if you have it set up, like the protection prayers I showed you earlier. Later on, there's weapons that actually in membership have special effects. You can trigger it with the thing right there. And then there's the sword button, which you can safely ignore. But very useful stuff. Okay, so this is the Western Barrack Bank. By the way, the Grand Exchange is, if you didn't know, right north of here, so it's a great spot as well to do all your trading. So for me, I'm going to do a little bit of quick smithing with my steel bars. I don't have that many, so I'm not going to do that much, but do that. Where's my hammer? Why am I blind? There it is, right there. I got a hammer. So I always have a hammer, and then all you do is, you see right here, these are the anvils. You can just go right back and forth within seconds and do all your smithing. For me, I want to make one axe. And then, I guess I'll just keep making the axes. I don't have anything better I can make. And that's all you do. Once you get a whole bunch of bars over at Edgeville, then you come over here and you just go back and forth dumping all your bars. Now, obviously I don't have enough to do a full inventory, but I do now have a steel axe, which was one of my goals for today, so hooray. And you got a little doggy following you. Look at you. Unfortunately, I'm not going to hit my 34, 35 smithing, but that's okay. I'll work on that off stream. But yeah, that's kind of a good example of things that you want to start farming and working towards in areas to do them in. I'll sell them later. I have played Old School RuneScape and RuneScape for a long time. Obviously, this is a newish account. This is my first Ironman on Old School RuneScape, but very useful. I'll show you over here too. Probably the best place right now for you to farm up a whole bunch of that copper ore, because it sounds like you need it. Just want to go this way across Varrock. And to put it in perspective, Lumbridge is just southwest. So you did a full circle of most of the free-to-play areas. So congratulations. But I've got between the years probably 3 or 4 different characters, at least 1 or 2 on each Old School and New School. So. And this sort of thing you pick up over time, and again, there's a lot of good online guides and stuff too to rely on. There's free-to-play guide, there's membership guide, if you ever want to check it out. But otherwise, just playing it how you want to play it, that's the beauty of RuneScape. So, if you want to go beat up guards, even though it may not be the best way to level up, go for it. Not right now, mind you, but later on. Or if you want to... Most of the map in this area, so free-to-play is effectively all of this, and then most of the wilderness. From here on out, nothing over here, and nothing south of there. There is, of course, membership. And member map is gigantic. I mean, you got all this area over here and up there. More spots. So as you can see, there's a lot of stuff. Membership is really, really cool. But, free to play, you got a lot of stuff to do here, even so. The map is massive for free to play too. So here are the copper ores and of course tin ores. So if I were you, I would park myself right here, bounce back and forth between this one, this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. You don't even have to move, you can just hammer one, hammer the other. I'll do a little bit of iron farming. That guy's going to come back and I'll probably have to leave. Yeah. Ideally, especially once you get higher up and the rocks take a little bit longer to respawn, going back and forth between And a corner shape like this is the best. So parking yourself here. That is a unicorn. If you even want to, you can kill it and get a unicorn horn. I think they drop them free to play. I know membership it does. But unicorns hit pretty hard, so I wouldn't mess around with them. Yep. Yeah, level 15 and they hit like a truck, so at least early on. Oh no, giant rat of doom. Enemies in the game, usually if you're lower level than them, they are not going to be, or they're going to be aggressive to you. Not always, but if you're lower level, usually they will be. Sometimes they'll be aggressive if you're higher level, and then sometimes they're just aggressive all the time, depending on where you're at. So, like the wilderness, for example, every enemy there is pretty much aggressive full time. And again, if you go into the wilderness, do not bring anything that you're not prepared to lose. Usually there's no reason to go into the wilderness, but sometimes later on there can be. So, can't say that enough because there's a lot of times where people try and scam you and bring you back into the wilderness and then kill you and let you steal all your stuff. RuneScape was so ahead of its time, and even now it's, you know, obviously the graphics being what they are, but it's still pretty dang amazing. And, you know, with the graphics, you know, is what it is, but, you know, the gameplay loop and all that is just, it's still amazing. I mean, the feeling of all your stuff leveling up, being able to do whatever you want. I mean, there's people who play the game completely non-combatantly, and they don't fight anything. They just mine, or they, you know, Smith. I'm gonna go up to the bank, so I'll be right back. You know, they just, you can be a lumberjack if you want. I mean, all sorts of stuff. So it's pretty impressive that you can kind of play the game how you want. You're not forced to do combat, but obviously then at that point you miss out on most of the quests. But, there's so much variety. You know, how many games let you do that and actually make it feel rewarding to do so? It's pretty cool. I will say that RuneScape, Old School RuneScape does some really good things that I wish RuneScape 3 would mimic. I mean, there's a lot more, not necessarily pay to win, but there's some of those, you know, microtransaction stuff on RuneScape 3, which as an Ironman you don't deal with, so that's why I had a lot of fun, but kind of got frustrating that side. But you know, there's some things that they did with the mining and smithing update, which I think is amazing, like having the different tiers up to even level 90 or 100, or level 90 at least. They really made smithing make more sense than, here, let's put Runite behind 85. You know, you need 40 to wear it. But, I don't know. You got this. See if I can cheer. How do I cheer? Oh, there we go. Uh-oh, don't die. Please don't die. Yes! Victory! And back to mining. Yep. It's a game where you don't have to have that great of a graphics card and you can get the full experience. You know, it's not necessarily and always going to be the same as it was back in the day, but, you know, for the most part, it's going to be a fantastic experience. And they did a lot of stuff when they brought it back compared to what it was. Differences they've added to it and some extra stuff like the Blast Forge and whatnot. And if you didn't know, there's actually a mobile version as well for all your addictive gameplay needs. If you want to play on a phone or a tablet, you can download Old School RuneScape. It is fantastic. It works pretty much just as good, except for dropping things out of your inventory, as it does on a computer. I would say, by all means, it's a great way to enjoy it if you're on the go. It does use up a little bit of battery, but not terrible. Like, you can still get probably a couple hours of gameplay without issue. And being such a simple game, it's a great one to do while you're multitasking on other stuff, which is probably what a lot of people love RuneScape for, is because it's, you know, it doesn't lose you take a lot of attention to it, unless for, like, if you're mining and stuff. Oh, nice. But, you know, I wouldn't say do it while studying or anything, but if you're, go back. There you go. But, you know, if you're going to be playing a different game and you just want to work on fishing or something that's super AFK like that, where you don't, spots only occasionally move, it can be great. Mining isn't so good to do AFK though, because the rocks and all that. And if you end up getting a spot like this where there's no one else to bother you, then you're effectively golden. Let's see. Do I want to go back and do coal? Coal takes so long though. And you'll naturally find that it's not too unusual to see your mining go way above your smithing, and your cooking go way above your fishing. It just naturally happens. But, you know, one of those games where you can just enjoy the game while you loot. Goodness. Oh, I just took me an hour to notice, but thank you for following. My goodness. I won't say I'm slow, but might not be the quickest to catch on. I was having so much fun chatting. And by all means, if you ever have questions or anything, I'm always happy to answer. For me, RuneScape is one of the games where I love playing it, but I love helping others as well. It's just, there's so many things to do in the game, and, you know, there's a lot of, you know, the feeling of adventure, is, you know, especially when you don't know what's going on and going wherever. Amazing. I'm going to head back over to Barbarian Village, which is just west of here, to get some coal, I think. Welcome to join me. You're welcome to keep farming up. I'm still going to chat regardless. My goal is at least to get to 34 smithing so I can get the steel scimitar. Scimitars are the best for training up your stats for combat melee. Just does a lot of damage. Melting. Oh, you mean the bars? Yeah, that was back at Elgeville. Remember where I showed you? Oh, pardon me. Oh, hey, I'm happy to help teach you. Follow. I'll show you. Actually, right in the direction I was heading anyway. I'll take you the way through the Barbarian Village. No, we'll go this way. We'll go back past here. Yeah. So again, for smithing, there's smelting, and then there's using those bars to make stuff. The anvils right here are the best, closest place to a bank. So remember this spot, Western Varick Bank, just south of it. It is super convenient. Much better than trying to run back and forth like an hour long between the anvil or something. And then conveniently enough, right up here past the Grand Exchange is going to be where we're heading. Grand Exchange, of course, being where you marketplace, buying all the stuff for between players. We're just going to work our way up on the map, right over here in Edgeville. Edgeville Furnace. So remember, Edgeville Furnace, Varick West, Anvil. That's your two key notes for mining or for smithing. Just right up here. Compared to Lumbridge, it's a trip, but Yes, and don't deal with those guys over there. They hurt. Yeah, well, once I show you the forge, you can just backtrack right past here. It'll be good kind of memorization route training anyway. Once you get agility and get high enough in agility in a member world, you can go back and forth between here. It kind of speeds it up. But obviously we're not members, so we don't have access to that skill. But in the future, it can be very useful. And again, the bank right here, and the forge right here. So this is the forge. You smelt right here at the furnace. Boom. You go back and forth. Yo, welcome to the stream, Foobs. And then, of course, here is the bank. So you just run right back and forth. Pickle. So again, make it worth your trip. Get a whole bunch of bronze and or copper and tin in your bank, and then you can go back and forth and spith like, yeah, so you probably want to do at least 200, maybe 250 or so to get to 15. But that's how you would do that. How is it going, Foobs? Welcome to the stream. I was just showing One Punch Pickle a few tips and tricks. He's new to the game, so showing him the best place to do your smelting, then best place to do your hammering over there at the anvil. My part, I'm going to head south from here, so I'll still be in the area if you have questions, Pickle, but I'm going to go grab some more coal. I need to work on my smithing. Big fan of RuneScape? I've started off a, I would say, pretty new Ironman account here, so after a little bit of mining here and there, this is where I'm at. Working on my mining and smithing. I want to get at least to the point where I can make a steel scimitar. Steel armor, it's great, but I guess, I mean, if you can wear it, great. You know, Grand Exchange is what's there for. They're probably not going to be super cheap. Maybe $1,000 or two. But grab it if you can. That's going to help your survivability a ton. Steel plate. Make sure you always get plate. There's very rarely do you ever want to get chainmail for anything. Chainmail is only good against crush. By all means, that's right. You got a couple 100,000. I think you can afford it. You're right. Oh, and thank you for following, Foobs. I appreciate it. Sorry, again, to One Punch, who I didn't catch the follow for an hour after. But what are you working on right now, Foobs? Playing the only game you play? Heck, nothing wrong with that. Probably got a pretty experienced character here. Currently non-member, gonna eventually become a member probably, but coming off after a year break, and it's like, I tore myself away, and now I'm coming right back. So this time around, it was partly because of hearing the music on YouTube. I was like, oh, nostalgia. And it was, oh, nice, Group Ironman. Good stuff. That seems pretty fun. And partly because of that, and partly because there's a mobile game called Melver Idol, available on Steam and the app stores. It basically takes out all of this and just, you know, all the movement and stuff, and just, you know, enjoying all the numbers rising for RuneScape-based gameplay. A little bit different, but got me in the mood. A lot easier to make money in there, though. So it'd be nice if I could get to Rune Knight gear. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a while, especially for the pickaxe, but we'll get there. Agnisa. Is that a reference to something? Nice leatherhosen. So probably got another half hour, 45 minutes left on the stream, I would figure. Probably going to cut off right around 11, give or take. This is a heads up. I'm not making, this isn't my only game I play. I do a lot of stuff on YouTube as well. I do a lot of more focused gameplay, 45-minute chunks here or there, like stuff like just finished up an Elden Ring playthrough. I'm in the middle of a Horizon Zero Dawn playthrough, Chicory Colorful Tale playthrough, and Bug Fables: The Everlasting Sapling blind playthrough. So got a couple of those going on. Those tend to drop during the week. Ooh, nice. Fighting spiders. beat them up. Still suggest farming the cows if you're going to be farming up or doing any fighting, but hey, nothing wrong with beating up spiders. So probably to be focusing more weekend, you know, once in a while, weekend morning, maybe an evening stream here and there. Might do something during the week, we'll see. But a lot of stuff I'm going to be doing is still going to be a lot of off-stream farming because RuneScape being what it is. Let's see, so probably another 100 bars-ish to my goal. I want to get to, I think it's 35 for the steel scimitar. That'll get me far enough, I think. There you go. Nothing wrong with that. I'm enough of a Blood Knight that I can definitely get behind that. Something gets in my way. Crush it. Let's see, also going to be doing some off-stream, once I get more money underhand. Ironman is hard to get money, my goodness. But do some off-stream fishing training with the trout here, probably. Trying to figure out the best way to get towards the rune pickaxe. I think it's about 20,000. I was just looking it up, that's right. Really? It is 32,000. You. Okay, well, so be it. More money than I thought. My original thought was doing a whole bunch of steel swords, selling them to the variant place, and then try and accumulate money that way. I could try and dive into the stronghold security. It would not end well as my stats, though. At least not towards the bottom end, where there's level 70, level 80 things. I think slow and steady is still the way to go, even though the speed is killing me. I don't know why I moved off of there. I saw something pop in over there and misread. Figure out which way I want to go after I... Oh, I gotta stop clicking on things. Figure out which way I want to go after I get to about 20s, 25, maybe 30 combat. I want to do some quests, so Vampire Slayer by that point will be easy enough. Especially in full steel, I should be able to wipe that out. Obviously Dragon Slayer is the end goal, but that's going to be a while. I should work on my crafting. I wonder how much money I can make based off of the leather gear. Just selling it in shops. Probably a decent chunk, I'd like to think. Yeah, I think I have some... Maybe doing some... After I get more cowhide, I'll just do a huge bunch of crafting there and see what happens. Eventually I'll change off, maybe in the 20s, from cows to Minotaur so I can work at getting iron arrows. But we're not quite to that point yet. They still crunch me. Sure, I'll help you, Leo. Yeah, good idea. One of the best things about the Old School RuneScape is these little mini games. What do you mean? I put the wrong coffins into these graves. I need to pick up the coffins and put them in the right graves. If you need to free up some space in your inventory, just store things in Mausoleum. Oh. I will happily take care of... Oh. Actually, I could just... Boom. Conveniently enough, saves me some time. Alright, so what's in this coffin? This is mining. This is... an axe? Or is that pickaxe? That is an axe. Okay. That is planter. Or pottery could be. That might be the right one. I'm actually going to put you back in there. Come on. That's cooking. Okay, that's 2 in a row where they've been in the right spot. I'm being bamboozled. This one won't be. This one will be different. Yep, well, I already know that one goes in there, so we'll dump you, and then we'll check you. So 3 of them were in the right spot. My goodness, I didn't have to bother checking the last one. We're done. We're good. Leo, we have done it. There, finished. Okay, let's have a look. Wonderful. That's taking care of all of them. Here, I'll take you back to where I found you and give you your reward. Zombie outfit. Ooh, 2 pieces of zombie shirt. Oh no, and I lost my spot. El zombie. Kind of. Oh, brother, so I'm going to swap worlds, I think. That's fine. Not a big deal. I knew I was in trouble as soon as I took up the event. I was like, yeah, I'm going to lose my rocks. But thankfully, easy enough to find another world right now. It's still early on in the day. Not as crowded as I remember them being. Maybe I'm just fortunate. It says buy won't buy, 0 out of 1. Well, that's because on the Grand Exchange you're talking about, right? There may not be one on it for sale. Ideally, it will hopefully buy soon, but sometimes you have to wait for someone to actually put things up for sale. And depending on what you offered, you may or may not find a bite. You gotta offer enough money to make it so it's at least a minimum. You can offer more, and sometimes you'll get one instantaneously, but sometimes you have to wait if you offer a lower amount. So it's a bit of a gamble. Do you want it right away? Do you want to just pay more to get it right away? Do you want to just wait? If you really want a steel pickaxe or plate body, there is one deep in the wilderness. You probably will not survive the trip, but you could try to go for it. I would not suggest it though. Where is that? I think it's in like the lava maze. Is that right? I know there's a sap earth in the lava maze. I forget if the others there. Either way, that would be probably a terrible idea, so I would probably just buy it since you have the money. Fortunately, as an Ironman, I can't really give you a demonstration of the Grand Exchange, so definitely take a look at guides online if you want to learn a little bit more. But otherwise, ideally buy low, sell high, but sometimes you just have to bite the bullet and buy high if you want something soon. Like if the average is like, we'll say for sake of argument, like 1,000, you may have to end up buying it for like 1,300 or something just to try and get it ASAP. Because sometimes people put it a little above the minimum price, and they're willing to stick it out until someone needs it right away. For now, yes, but permanently, no. Eventually, I will probably go membership. Right now, I'm not in a huge hurry for jumping into the members worlds. There's still a lot of stuff I want to work on raising my stats, like not necessarily 40s all around, but somewhere around there. At least combat-wise, when I get up to the point where I could wear rune gear. I know I'm not going to be able to make rune gear because there's no way I'm getting 85 smithing, but at least try and get it up there. But combat certainly up to there, just so I can have a chance at fighting some of the tough bosses. Ideally, prayer up to 43, so I can jump right into knocking out stuff like the Grand Tree and the Xanark class? I forget this. Xanark? I forgot the name all of a sudden. Xanaris, there we go. That's one of my big goals. And then ideally, at least 40 for fishing, so I can start getting lobsters and Catherby, and we'll see what I can do with crafting. We'll see. I would say no, some stuff would make it a little easier, like waterfall quests would be really helpful to raise my stats up quick, but I feel like I'd be wasting a few days of membership if I didn't work on raising some of my stats right now. Conveniently enough, I haven't had too much of an issue with getting the iron and coal I need, so great opportunity to just keep spamming my smithing up. If you're going to buy a steel weapon, buy a steel scimitar. Scimitars are the best way to effectively raise your stats for melee. So just the way, for some reason, the combat stats they give is just usually the best overall for, especially for strength, I know, but in general. I'll get a steel scimitar, and then you should be golden. Once you go to those cows, you'll be surprised at how quickly they melt. Yep. Veterans know. Go scimitars. At least until late membership, and then you get the whip, but that's not going to happen anytime soon. And again, if you're raising anything up, after you get your 5 for your steel stuff, I would focus on strength first. My stat distribution is what it is because I wanted to make sure I didn't die to iron or ice giants, ice warriors down in the Lurite area. So I raised my strength or defense up a little higher to try to make sure I staved off the damage. And it worked. I did not die. I felt pretty good. The heads up, you could try to do the Night Sword. I would do a lot more preparation before then, but the Night Sword is a really good way to raise your smithing up in one fell swoop. But since you're already farming a whole bunch of, you've farmed up tin ore, you might as well farm up enough bronze or copper and just, go through your inventory. And then maybe do it after that point. I was at like 15 smithing because I wanted to get the iron bars myself rather than killing dwarves for them. And then it jumped me up to 31, so, which isn't great, but it helps. I'd say being 2020 probably would have been better just to go right up to 29 and just farm up iron, but whatever. I had fun doing the bronze. And I actually made a decent chunk of money from making all those bronze swords and selling them to the sword shop in Barrack. That's actually how I was able to afford my wand or my staff there. Hoping to do the same thing with the steel long swords once I can eventually make them. Should be able to make them after this level. I think 32 is the level. I guess I should mention, if you're interested in seeing my journey up until this point in terms of stuff I've done in quests and whatnot, I do have the VODs on YouTube. For some reason, when I did the download off of Twitch, it was not nearly as good a quality as what it is right now. Like, it was still visible, but a little bit blurry. I was a little disappointed in that. I figured out how to do a record while streaming, so I'm hoping that when I upload it manually myself, it will be a better quality on YouTube, but still more than good enough to check out if you're curious. A lot of the same, farming, smithing, or farming, mining, smithing, fishing. And then I did some quests in the second one. Almost got beaten up by some cows. That was actually fairly close. There was a particular cow that was very scary. Option to skip the animation to teleport. I say that just ruins the fun. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Animations are part of the process. Besides, it doesn't change the length of time it takes to I should probably just keep doing that. Takes so long, I might as well go for it. But no, definitely, it doesn't change the time it takes. It just, gets rid of the animation. So at that point, I mean, I guess if you really don't like sitting down and doing a spell circle, but. was going to get rid of the zombie clothes. Oh well, guess I didn't. And part zombie for today. I'm guessing 100 to 200 cores are going to be what I want to make. I don't know how much they sell for each, but I know that we'll be able to get a decent chunk off of that at least. Heck yeah! You're almost to your goal. Yeah, I'd say get your, since you're buying gear, you know, get attack, defense 5, and then go back to Callus, you know, go ham on them with, here we go, 42. Go absolutely ham on them with your strength raising. I'll go at least strength 20, if not even 25, maybe even 30 if you're really feeling spicy. But fair minimum 20, because you want to get that pretty high. And then maybe raise attack up to 20 after that for the third gear. But what are you grinding out right now, Foobs? Doing some mining, doing some farming. That's it. I can't wait to get back to membership because I always love doing birdhouse runs. Those are always so much fun. I don't know why I found them so fun. It's just enjoyed them a lot. Something simple, come back every so often, do a run. The area was pretty nice. I think the music was really nice. I liked. Plus, getting access to the island gives you access to the crabs, which is always a good farming spot. Still not much in terms of drops. You're testing me, seeing if I'm good with my clicks. Or is you gonna get Barbarian blown up? Takes a little bit of time to get there, but once you do, it feels pretty good, and you'll find yourself taking a lot less damage, especially if you have full steel gear. I mean, my goodness, that makes a huge difference in terms of survivability. I could get away with at that point just a couple of shrimp and maybe bring along your axe and your tinderbox like I suggested. Okay. Rock. One rock. You got me, Rock. I admit it. Got it. I did it. I defeated the God Rock. Accomplished nothing, but small sense of satisfaction. Wait, what? No, I didn't. You still remember. Oh, maybe my enunciation was bad. Or maybe I was mumbling. Apologies. I mean, if I could cast spells IRL, that would be pretty sick. But I really like, though. Ah, you're a wizard, Harry. I mean, being wizard would be pretty cool, but being telekinetic would be just as cool. Imagine being able to play RuneScape without having to use your hands at all. Think of the power. Think of the overwhelming power. That would definitely make, if you had two counts going at once, make it far less of a chore. once, I actually have to wait. Oh, fast? No, but it'll make it a lot easier to, you know, think about you bring your phone in the shower and do some farming there without having to touch anything, or working on writing a paper and you just boop, boop, boop. Definitely faster than normal, I agree with that. Dealer 69. Oh god. Well, that is a name, I guess. It is a name that you can pick. I'm not gonna say it's a good name, but it's a name. Oop, oop, oop. Dressed in full rune, looks like. Oh, did he go? Oh, there, kind of hard to see. Well, he's dressed in mithril and an adamantite. Never mind. Runite's a little bit different in color. A little bit lighter blue. More of an aquish. Well, kind of an aquish. If you can change this to a different sign. What do we want to do here? Escape 5. Not sure I recognize this particular version. Neat. That would do it. Banger, but let's change it to something a little bit quieter. That's the music I want. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough to balance the music here because, you know, on my feed right now, on my feed, it's like I can tell that it's about perfect right now in terms of the audio, but then when you do the escape songs, it goes whoop. And then you can't hear a word I say, and I feel bad, then we have to keep changing things back and forth. It goes out pretty good with tongue, too. I guess barbarians aren't too bad to train on. It wouldn't be the optimal choice, but it's a choice, I guess. You know, I guess they're fairly squishy. They have a decent health pool. Yeah, definitely. There's better ones to choose, though. But I guess it is a decent choice, and it's particularly safe with its gears. Leaving the bones behind, don't do that. Always bury your bones. And, by the way, always try and fight things that drop bones, because you're going to want that prayer up as quick as you can. You don't understand how much the protection prayers make a difference in your gameplay until you use them. Especially once you become a member and things sit like a truck. Even before then. That is 2 cows, you got it. Yeah, actually, yeah. 8 times 5. 40, so 2 cows and a bunch of cowhide later. And again, if your goal is to only get money, that can be a good thing to sell, but otherwise I would say just use it for crafting. Or turn it into turn it into leather and then do that, but it adds a lot of extra time onto each step. I love it. I am picking at nothing, but I am still hitting a rock. And now I'm back to rocks. Yep. Not giving you health itself, but giving you the experience for the health. So it's definitely important. You know, you'll find that especially as you go from 10 to 11 to 12, it makes a significant difference on your survivability. Even though they only do like 1 hit per, but it helps a lot. Nightfall. Let's do Nightfall. That's a good song. Classic. Task complete. Nice. Now if your attack and your defense are both 5, raise up that strength and watch enemies start to melt as it goes up. Getting closer to a mining level. Kind of. Sort of. Takes forever, but... Level 5 defense. That is a big milestone. Going from bronze gear to steel is going to feel like you're going from like a broken down truck to like a, I'm not going to say like a Jaguar, but maybe like more like a Rolls Royce or something a lot higher tier in terms of survivability. And looks badass, you're right. And that will get you through a lot of quests for a while. A lot of quests, a lot of fights. Of course, Mithrils, Adamantite, and Runite are great, but Steel is the first really good armor you can get in the game, so enjoy it. And certainly it's free to play. It's definitely one of the best armors you can get for giving you a leg up. God, I need to get that Runite pickaxe as soon as possible. This is killing me. This rock should have been done 10 ticks ago. Yeah, please don't die. Always regenerate your health to close to full between fights if you're in danger. That would be my best suggestion. If you go into a cow fight with less than 7 health, you're asking for bad luck to fight you. You don't want to die if you can help it. It's not the end of the world, but it would be a long run to get back to where you're at. And you have to recollect your gear. So. Hey, that little burst of adrenaline is pretty nice though, huh? Feels like it just slayed a dragon. Maybe a dragon cow. Well, if you're at Lumbridge, if you see people leaving their bones around, pick them up and bury them. You'll thank yourself later on once you get closer to your level. And generally, if someone leaves their something on the ground, that means they don't want it. So, Goblin Dragon. Ah. Scariest kind. A goblin was fated to be the next goblin chieftain, and you cut him down. Ideally, I'd be able to smith myself a full set of steel gear. before I start doing combat training again. But if I'm just going to be fighting cows, I should be a-okay with my current gear, because as you saw before, I took basically no damage. So if I want to fight the Minotaurs to start getting this arrows, the iron arrows from them, that will be a little bit more of a stretch. So I'll have to make sure I get steel gear before then, which means 48 smithing for the steel plate body. Or making a very dangerous trip to the wilderness, which does not sound fun. I guess I'm deathless right now, so you know, it'd be a fun way to break the ice, so to speak, but I just feel so bad to get PK'd. Interesting enough, I heard that RuneScape 3, they might be making PvP opt-in in the wilderness, which I'm curious as how they'll rebalance things to make it work, but I would be 1000% behind that. Forced PvP for skilling is no fun because you're basically a sitting duck. Bringing all your gear in is always a risk. So that would be wonderful, even though the spirit of the wilderness is that it's dangerous and you can get killed anytime. I know in the past they had like the revenants that walked around. I think that's a pretty cool idea. Or, you know, other sorts of dangers that you can deal with would be cool, but, you know, getting ganked by PvP players is always a little bit eh. Yep. It's close. You usually don't want to let it get that close, but, you know, as you put it, the Goblin Dragon was a hell of a fight. Yeah, ideally don't heal during combat if you can avoid it. Heal between combats, because every time you heal, it takes a tick of, you know, basically means you don't get to attack that round per se. But obviously you do what you have to do. If you're gonna die, you know, don't play games. Death is never the answer, unless it is. So we're getting close on that. Definitely going to hit 32 by the time I get smithing the rest of the bars, so that's good. We get pretty close to 11 o'clock. Let's think about things. I'm not sure. There'll be a lot of off-screen farming with bajillion plus 1 rocks plus herb coal plus. I want to get that fishing up. Not sure. I mean, I might do a stream tonight. I have not decided. I may do a stream tonight, you know, 7, 8 o'clock. I haven't decided. We'll see. Yeah. Oh yeah. Make sure you please keep any valuables in the bank, you know, especially gold. I mean, I probably don't have to say it, but don't risk what you don't have to risk. That zombie shirt really does not look good with this outfit. Really does not look good with this outfit. The boots aren't bad. Not great, but not bad. Almost look like I'm wearing a pair of like slip-on slippers or something. Like black socks and like a little slipper. Eventually I'll dive down into the bottom of here and get the, what you call it, the special boots. Best in slot for, free to play. Later on, when you can get like the actual boots, like the dragon boots or rune knight boots, and play PvP, obviously, or free or pay to play. But the you'll see a lot of people wearing those slippers because they're so good. 101, not Dalmatians, but 101 coal. So we are 1/10 our way there. Grind is real. Hopefully once I get 200-300, I'll be able to do some... Yes, that's why I'm saying level strength. Strength helps with damage. You'll be hitting 1s unless you start... Maybe 2s unless you start raising strength. The higher the strength, the more damage you deal. Now, it's not like, 18 strength means you deal 18 damage. It's, it's, there's certain breakpoints, depending on what weapon you have, that you start having a chance to deal higher damage. And then, you can start doing like 2, and then eventually start doing 3, and you can, as you continue to rise, you get better chance of dealing those numbers. So, again, as a melee build, always level strength up higher than everything else, because that's going to be focused on the majority of your damage. And besides, the more strength you have, the more quicker you kill things, the less damage you take. So, also a very good reason to do that. Of course, it's not an exact science, and you do want to make sure you raise, the other stats up as well. Lose your strength and attack, and defense, and strength, attack, defense. Depends on how close you are to a break point. Like, obviously, if you were at level 19 and you're 1 away from a mithril, then obviously you want to do that so you can get a mithril scimitar instead. But let's see. Not gonna get a level this time. Okay. I think I'll do one last round of coal, fill up an inventory, and then I'll probably call things there. I got lunch waiting for me, I think, and I got a lot of writing to do in the afternoon. A lot of writing I want to do. Chicken. Yep. Yeah, ranged weapons are interesting. Range can be very powerful. More powerful than melee sometimes, but an inspiring one. I'm working on 2 different stories. One I have about 45,000 words written. The other one I turned out 6,200 words last weekend. So making some good progress. But yeah, ranged weapons. I have to keep. Get a lot of arrows, which as a free-to-play is hard to farm, but once you can, get it up higher, you can churn out a lot of damage pretty quick. And obviously, being at range, it's possible to stay away from enemies if you're smart, or if you have like a rock between, or like something between you and another person. Like, for example, if she was an enemy, I could shoot her right now and she wouldn't be able to touch me. She would just stay right there permanently. There's something to be said for range. Or magic, too, does similar things. So magic, you have to burn through a lot of runes. And once you become a member, you can automatically gather some of your arrows back by a quest that gives you a special item, backpack of sorts. So it's pretty convenient. Nice. Sounds like a fun one. Becoming a member for fletching for range makes it so much better. As long as you have, of course, the thing to make the arrowheads for said arrow type. So right now I wouldn't be able to make steel yet because I don't have the steel arrowheads unlocked, but eventually I would be able to. I could do a whole bunch of iron if I wanted, which is pretty nice. Magic, of course, is fully unlocked with rune crafting. You get a few benefits from being paid or pay to play, but otherwise, a lot of it's just either is it Iron Man, make your own, or buy the runes. Gotcha. Showing him up, may or may not get behind that, but making your own story is pretty great. Unleashing your creativity, creating the world, creating all the unique characters, and then seeing how those characters kind of grow as the story progresses, and even as you start the story. Nice. Yep. See, 2 damage makes a big difference in how quickly you kill cows, and you'll find you start taking a lot less damage. So keep that up. Why did I click on that? Oh well. Guess we're going this route now. So. Good stretch. Oh, very good stretch. Wow. Would love to do a more active stream on my next one. I know this one's been a lot more farming and smithing, though again, RuneScape is all about the grind, but I might do some questing next time, or maybe some more melee training. Or both. I could do some magic training, then that'd be fun. Maybe I'll do some of that too, we'll see. Hit points level 12. Heck yes. You keep that up. What I should do the quest to get the Amulet of Accuracy. Then I should do some training. That would be a good way to do it. Not that the Amulet of Accuracy makes a huge difference, but it helps with the damage output. "48 Tower Song." What the history behind that name is? That's an interesting one. Is that just random words put together, or is there a story behind it? Like 48. One thing I can think of with that number significantly, the light novel or anime or manga series Log Horizon, I think that one has 48 songs in there. Existing in that particular world. That was a plot point in one of the later ones. Maybe that's referring to that? I don't know. Interesting though. Comics and manga, yep. Obviously different, but similar in idea, just largely different topic-wise, especially if you're, superhero comics versus like a manga or something. Well, nowadays there are some of the graphic novels and whatnot for like, Legend of Zelda series I saw my nephew reading at some point and stuff like that, so not too far off at that point. Very interesting. I personally don't read too much manga. I do enjoy it. I think the only one I really read most of was the Hayate no Gotoku manga, which is an amazing anime and manga series. But usually I kind of prefer to do the light novels and reading. I don't know why, just kind of how I've always been. Got my handy Kindle and currently working through gosh, why am I forgetting the name of it? Let's find out. Let's see. Part-timer, I'm just trying to remember the exact name of it. Oh yes, The Devil is a part-timer. How could I forget? The Devil is a part-timer. Pretty good, that was my phone going bashed. Pretty good series. Going off the rails a little bit in the later episodes or volumes, but still pretty fun. As a suggestion, if you have not read it, you might want to try... Oh, watched the anime and loved it. Yeah, I haven't watched the anime, but it's pretty fun. You have not checked out Konosuba, or in English, God's Blessing on This Wonderful World. You may want to check it out. It's really fun, especially the Japanese dub. Watch it with the English subtitles, and it's very, very funny. Very funny, and very... The parody of the isekai genre, which is like the otherworld genre. You'll see a lot of those, like the Rising of the Shield Hero and other stuff. Actually, one of the novels I'm writing is a kind of a deconstruction of the isekai genre, but that one's a really funny series. You might enjoy it. And there's a pretty good mobile game too. That's beside the point. Okay, so full inventory. We are almost 43. Was it 19 levels to go at that point until Mining Guild? A long journey, but an important one. So, of course, by the time you can get the Mining Guild at that point, Lucy, there's no point in getting the Mining Guild because you're probably going to be pay to play by that point. But accomplishment nonetheless. Though the RuneScape 3 version of the Mining Guild is fantastic, so that one is worth it because you can get the tier 60 rocks there. Alrighty. And I think that is where I'm going to be calling things. Hold on. Get this off of me. Alright. You know, it's just another form of expressing your creativity. You know, books or manga or, you know, drawing. All of that is about, you know, putting what's in your head down in some manner, way, shape. I can't draw worth a damn. As proof, you can check out my Chicory Colorful Tale playthrough on YouTube, and you'll see I absolutely am a terrible drawer. But for me, writing is just how I kind of, you know, enjoy expressing myself. And I only started about 3 or 4 months ago with doing heavy writing. A while back I did some creative writing, but nothing too big came of it besides a little bit of online posting stuff. But you know, especially if you have those kinds of ideas, you can kind of, you know, come up with a cool story and stuff. Do it. Nothing wrong with that. You know, even if the drawings aren't the best, you know, just getting the idea out on paper is great. Same with the story. I got totally distracted. I was going to be calling things here. But yeah, it's 11. Go whip up some food and then apparently get a uncut sapphire. Hooray. But I think I will probably call things, and then again, I haven't decided if I'm going to do it tonight or not. We'll have to see. Yeah, hey, that's important. You know, for me, descriptions can be hard. That's something I sometimes struggle with is, you know, putting a good, well-made description down. And so having that idea in your head is nice. I live in Michigan. Where's that rock? That rock can wait. This rock's better. But, yeah, we'll see whether I do it tonight or if I do, later in the week. Probably won't be doing too much during the actual week. I'll be doing more of my YouTube stuffs, but we'll see. There's always a possibility, so I guess keep an eye on and see if you see a Twitch stream pop up. Feel free to stop in and say hi. But otherwise, so far and similar. Time's up. Yep. Eastern's a pretty wide range. Kentucky, nice. I've heard it's beautiful down there. I've not been for myself, but one day. One day. Let's see. Yeah, I think I will call things here. Been wonderful chatting with you, One Punch Pickle, and of course, Froob, thank you for stopping by. Notice you've been still sticking around, so I appreciate that. No, not Foobs. I am terrible with names. I will fully admit it. Terrible with names, so always raining. Yep. That's alright, we just had snow a few weeks ago, so Michigan, you never know what you're gonna get. But thank you all so very much for stopping by. I hope you had fun. Of course, everyone on YouTube, I hope the video quality is much improved. I think it will. I think it'll be a lot better, so. No, awesome, thank you. I appreciate the compliment. And by all means, you know, if you feel like stopping by on YouTube, feel free to check out the previous ones and let me know what you think. A lot of other good stuff on there, like the Elden Rune playthrough, Deltarune. I got, you know, a bunch of ongoing ones, so something for everyone. But until next time, you all take care, and look forward to seeing you once again on the next adventure.